Live. Let's find out if I am live. Am I live? Where are you, Twitch? I got a new phone. There we go. Alright, hang on a sec. Alright, well that works out quite nicely. Hello everyone. We are back for another week of Division 3. We will be starting in about 8 minutes because there was a Formula OCE race that had just finished, and of course there's a bit of a crossover. We've got some drivers in there that need to come over here and so on. From what I saw though, 8 finishes, bloody hell. I mean, it's Monaco realistic, so I'm not all that surprised because Monaco in the games is a bit painful. But nonetheless, they should be coming shortly, and I've decided to delay the thing, and the other guys in RRL have said that's alright, or they've not said anything against it, so it is what it is. We'll be starting at the race. We'll be starting qualifying at 8:30, and that's about that. So yeah, it's been a bit of a week. It's been a very interesting week. I'm wearing an Alfa Romeo shirt actually. That's actually the shirt that I think I wore this last week. I actually don't remember, but I don't really remember these sort of things. I just ramble on and just speak. But I am wearing the Alfa Romeo shirt because RIP to Antonio Giovinazzi, who will not be in F1 next year. He'll be moving over to Formula E with the worst team in Formula E. But he had an okay run at Alfa Romeo. I think, personally, Antonio wasn't an amazing driver, kind of like me. We both had the long hair in common, though. We both have glorious long hair. I mean, I think his is glorious. You can't really knock Antonio's hair. Antonio has the best hair on the grid. Second's Carlos Sainz, but anyway, so. And, there was occasional flash in the pan moments where he, like Zandvoort, for example, and then I think it was Italy, he had his second consecutive Q3 appearance. So, he did alright. I'd say he was an okay driver. 2019 was very rough, though. Again, he's by mid-season, he'd scored 1 point to Raikkonen's 31. And only ended up scoring 14 points versus 40 something from Raikkonen. So yeah, he couldn't beat old retiring Raikkonen. So that wasn't good. Raikkonen's good, but he's past his prime. Although people say that, but I feel like his 2018 season was really good. Anyway, who replaced Antonio? You might ask. Well, China's first F1 driver, Guan Yu Zhou. And people are going to immediately claim that money wins. Yeah, that's true. The sport has no morals. Money wins, and oil money wins in particular. But I am pretty happy to see a Chinese driver in Formula 1. I personally am. I think it's really cool to see. And I think, he's still young. He's 22. He's young. He's younger than me, which is a freaky thought. But that's wealth. That's what the wealth divide can get you sometimes. I'm 22 and I'm living at home. I'm living in my parents' home, and Guan Yu Zhou was 22 and has an F1 seat. But it's what you do with yourself that matters in the end. But I'm glad for him. I'm glad for Guan Yu Zhou. I think he'll do okay. We gave a lot of shit to Mazepin. We gave a lot of shit to Latifi, but Latifi is alright. He's definitely okay. I think he's better. I think both Mazepin and Latifi are better than Marcus Ericsson. And Mazepin had an entertaining dive bomb on Schumacher in the Brazilian Grand Prix, which was only okay at best, I might add. That was just okay. Might be a little bit biased because I want to see Red Bull win finally again, because I'm a little bit sick of the dominance. But can't knock Hamilton's drive there. You can't knock Hamilton's drive at all. That was mad. He was on a mission, and I posted on Reddit about that. Like I said. You get a grid penalty like that for illegal rear wing and an engine penalty. You get a fired up Hamilton who has peak power in his car. He's unstoppable, borderline unstoppable. So credit to him there for just keeping it calm and collected and nailing it. That's why he's a 7-time world champion. So anyway, that's it. Also, Antonio's now in Formula E with Dragon Penske, which is the shittiest Formula E team. People would say Neo is because they're further back, but I don't know. Neo's got stability and has loyalty. Like Blomqvist and who's the other Donny? I can't remember the other guy, but he's actually really good. I can't remember his name, and I'm gutted that I can't remember his name. But anyway, he's good. Meanwhile, Dragon like just swaps out their drives like every two race weekends for no particular reason. I'm hoping that starts to change because I've got Sergio set a camera there, and they've got Antonio, and that looks like a decent lineup. But they also had Brendan Hartley last year, or was it the year before? And they got rid of him after like 6 rounds, which sucked because I like seeing Kiwis. I'm an Aussie, but we don't have Aussies in Formula E, so I like to see Kiwis. So yeah, oh, I don't know what that emote is, but anyway. So we've got 17 drivers in here. That's mad. That's looking good. That's looking very good. Good job, everyone. I don't know who CBF cloaking is. I know we've got some CBF guys in here, and I've seen them in Div 1, but if you guys could explain to me what CBF means, that'd be appreciated. Because I don't know what CBF means. But then again, some people might ask, what does SD mean? And I had an answer, but I keep forgetting it. So, chicken, burgers, fish. That's much better than I thought it was. That's elite. That's elite. I like that. I'm just gonna see what these messages are. Got like 2 seats left, I think. I'm doing it with margin of error because I suspect there's probably someone who hasn't joined. Like, hang on, if I look at the Williams, oh no, War Machine's all there. They're all there. Zitsy Boy, he's here. Yeah, he's here. I've got Hendo. It's good to see him here. I believe he's, yeah, I was going to say, judging by the 1 bar ping, he is definitely not Australian. Well, I mean, he could very likely be Australian, but I know he's not Australian. I say that because we've got crap internet. We've got absolutely garbage internet here, so welcome aboard. Be fun to see you out here on this track. Hopefully everyone has a good race. I really hope we have good racing. We will have good racing. That's how it typically goes. We're always going to have some good racing somewhere. It's always going to be close. My race was miserable last night. I'm probably not going to continue to do one. It's just too stressful for me. I'm just not enjoying it. I feel like there's new people there who are probably more happy to take like being out of the points more than I am. And I just feel like I'm irrelevant to it, so I'm just going to sit back and do commentary. Unless there is a Div 2 spot for me or a Div 3 spot. I mean, yeah. It'll be interesting to see anyway. I actually like this track. Because this game... Yeah, in this game, this track is actually decent. Yeah, I used to drive Oz Div 2 back in the day when there was only 2 Oz divisions. Yeah. I remember, like, I think I was a part of the first Div 2 season, I think, because I joined in Canada, and I think that's when everyone, like, we were starting up a second tier because, well, obviously there was, you know, people who were not quick enough or not quite up to the consistency of the top Div 1 guys and wanted to have a bit more of an easier time, you know, at least be able to race for a bit and be able to go, okay, this is what it's like running up the front and all that. Totally not me. So I went into Div 2 in Racing Point for F1 2020, and that was a lot of fun. A couple of the guys there pop up in Div 1 now, like Harry Dwells and Paddy Crow. They're fun. They're fun to race with. A lot of respect for a lot of people in Div 1, Div 2, and Div 3 here, because they all, you know, we often don't realise. I feel like when it comes to competition, we often fail to realise that there is a human who loves this sport just as much as we do behind the screen, and none of us are superior than each other because we know more about the sport than someone else. You know, we are all here because we love the game. We love the sport. The sport attached to the game, I should say. But anyway, enough about me rambling. I'm very good at doing that. So, how much time have we got left? Well, we should be starting. We've got 18 cars in. I don't think we're going to be getting any new people. What car for you? CBF. Chicken buggers and fush. Oh no, he's already got his car picked for him. He's getting the Red Bull. The Red Bull's back to its old livery as well. Oh, and before I forget. Yeah. Once. Nearly spelled Pajala wrong. Alright. So basically, I completely forgot about this, but Jeddah actually came out. Speaking of, you know, the sport having, just wanting money. I mean, you gotta pay the bills somehow, and the sport's ridiculously expensive, so kind of fair enough. The track, I actually kind of like the track. Like, you know, there's that whole thing of, okay, the race might be crap, but at least the track's interesting in, like, just the flow. Like, it's kind of like Russia to a degree, because the racing on there, except for this year, it's kind of crap, if I'm going to be honest. It's never really produced much interesting racing. The layout's fine, to a degree. Like, I feel like in other categories this would be alright, but no, racing's never proven all that well. But, in the games, it's a fun track. It's, for some reason, a fun track. Which might highlight issues with F1 more than, you know, some of us might assume. But Jeddah, on the other hand, when it clicks, it kind of clicks. There's a really nice rhythm you got to get into on that track. And some bits are a bit crap, and it reminds me a bit of Vietnam. Like, there's a bit of deja vu, because it's like, oh, this feels like Vietnam. Like, the end of Sector 1 just feels like Vietnam. And you drive through there and you're like, oh, I've done this before, what the hell? But, like, the banked corners, there's a bit, I don't know what turn it is, because there's 27 turns on the track. Doesn't feel like it. But there's a bit towards the back end, I think it's just after this, just when Sector 2's timing thing finishes. And there's like a nice, really nice flowing left-hander. So you do a right-hander, you go down a gear, turn right, and then you short shift up, and then just power out on a long left-hander. Out into the second last DRS zone before the curve that leads to the main straight. And that is so much fun to nail. Like, it kind of caught me off by guard, because I thought that Vietnam, you know, it'd be another Vietnam. Because Vietnam was frankly rubbish, barring Sector 3. I think Sector 3 was a lot of fun just because that was so chaotic and so risky. But if you got it right and you kept your line in, no one could get past you. So, thank you, Hendo, for saying to everyone to ready up. I should have probably told everyone to ready up, but I don't think everyone's watching the stream. So that makes that a little complicated. And without further ado, 15 seconds till qualifying starts. I have turned off the formation lap, because the formation lap has given us issues in the past, and I am not terribly keen on having that issue, you know, rear its ugly head in again. It's not my kind of thing to just... I just like to have these things go as smoothly as I can, because I know that a smooth, you know, faultless lobby is very appealing to people, and it, you know, keeps people in the sessions. Oh, we've got a rainy quali session! Oh boy! So this is going to be a very interesting session. So yeah, you got to applaud the crowds that are behind glass there, because they're not going to get rain on them. Meanwhile, the poor sods on the top two floors are going to get bucketed in rain. So this kind of mirrors the latter stages of the actual race, except it's qualifying. Oh boy. Bit weird, actually, because the start of the Div 1 race was raining. So, that's interesting. So we've got people joining and people left. So, I'm guessing we're actually going to have a full lobby tonight. So, good job, everyone, for taking time out of your nights to come up here, watch the stream, and or join us for the race, or race as well, because, you know, that's part of the fun, is driving these cars. I don't know, part of the fun. Why did it reset? Okay, this game's being weird. Why have I got no timing thing anyway? What the hell? Hello? Can't pause. Hey, there we go. There we go. Enable. Not keen on having this game screw me over tonight at any stage. So, anyway. Yeah, 18 cars tonight. Now 19. So this is fantastic. This is going to be fantastic to watch. Will we have crashes in Q1? I mean, it's raining. This track has some wide runoff in some parts. Sector 3 is a bit tight. We've got a McLaren coming out of its pit lane. We also have a Red Bull. I can't guarantee if I can see anything else. So that's 2 cars out on track. We might have more coming out further down the grid. But who is out on track currently? We have Fanatical, and we had a Red Bull. We have a Red... It's CBF cloaking. It's cloaking. I won't say CBF, because that's longer than just to say their names, like Sways and Cloaking. There's another CBF dude here, but anyway, so yeah, that's a couple of cars out on track. There are more pouring out onto the track now. They are on, let's see what tire they're on. They're on the intermediate tire. Looks like it's a intermediate sort of track condition right now. Everyone's completely overshooting the brakes. Yeah, that's fair enough. I suspect people just aren't used to the traction in the wet weather and are like, oh, overshooting. And fortunately, the runoff area in turn 1, turn 2 is pretty generous. It's not Monaco. If it was Monaco in the wet, then oh boy, we'd already have like 3 or 4 cars out. So out in front is F1 Fanatical, and we've got 6 cars currently out on track. Sorry, 7, now 8. We've got the Haas of Greeny coming out. Now we've got 9 because we've got an Alpine further down the grid. Got a machine running wide on his outlap. So it seems to be a bit of a tricky conditions out there right now. A bit tricky. It's kind of like that in the race, actually. We were running wide in the race in Div 1, and car just didn't quite feel right. Felt like you were on the edge the whole time, which is never fun. Got Salty leaving the session again. I suspect he's probably got some connection issues, which is sadly all too common in this game still. But we're on board with F1 Fanatical, as he's the first car to likely cross the timing line. So hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for checking in, watching the stream. Hope you're enjoying this, and let's hope we get some good racing. We usually always get some good racing here in Div 3. We usually get some chaos as well, but usually it's always good. Got Fanatical crossing the timing line to start the first timed lap of the session. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. It is Stroker Race without a front wing, so he's lost it. Oh, we had a Williams further back there, nearly lose that as well. Fun fact, I actually lost it there as well, but I didn't hit the wall. I had a Alpine run into the side of me. JDM's been disqualified for session for clock, and we've got a Red Bull out. So that's 2 cars out. We've got a Williams also in the wall, with no front wing. You want to see a time lapse for Perks? Well, I'll definitely show you when he's out. When he's out on track. At the moment, he is not on track. Fanatical has invalidated his first timed lap, so it just goes to show that the conditions are a bit harsh around here in Sochi. Fun fact about Sochi, I believe it hosted the 2014 Winter Olympic Games, and is not too far from the hotly contested area of Crimea. It's about, I think about 200 k's off that, and it's also near Armenia and Azerbaijan. Oh no, Georgia. No, that's over the other side of the Caucasus Mountains. Anyway. Just ignore my knowledge of geography. It's kind of rubbish. But I like geography, so I should have probably paid attention to more of it when in year 7. Like 8 years ago. Anyway, so here's I'm a Bird. He's likely going to cross the line first, provided he doesn't invalidate in this remaining bit of Sector 2 and in the technical bit of Sector 3. We'll be seeing the first time lapped courtesy of him. So this should be very interesting to watch. Should be keen to see what the times are along here. I didn't really pay that much attention to them. We've got another yellow flag in Sector 1. Don't know what's going on there. It looks like maybe a car's coming out a bit slow, a bit cautious. I'm a Bird did set the fastest first sector or second sector. No, he set the fastest second sector, but that has since been upset by cars behind him. And there are plenty of cars behind him. As we go on board with I'm a Bird to see what his timed lap is. He's going cautiously around the last 2 corners. Kind of got to dance the car very carefully through these corners in any condition, really. He sets a 149.915. So it's hard to gauge how that competes with the rest of the field. But we've got Bremer on an outlap. We've got CBF Sways with a 144.9, 5 seconds quicker. So he's definitely had the car lined up a lot nicer. And do we have a car in the wall? We have an Alfa Romeo that's spun on the last, just as he starts a lap. Very unfortunate there. That's gonna, as long as he doesn't have any damage. We've got Greeny setting a 148.004. So what's going on here? So just got mentioned. Cheeky hot lap. Yeah, I know. He's on an out lap. He's coming around. He's starting Sector 3 now. So once he starts Sector 3, we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1 and Sector 3. I think that's a Haas slowing off. We've got an Aston Martin. That's Urban Growth. We're going to be on board with Perks. Red Bull on top. Yeah, the Red Bull's on top by a comfy margin. Urban Growth sits a 155.8, so I suspect he's had an off somewhere. These conditions proving tricky for quite a few of the drivers here tonight. Not surprising, this track's flat and water would typically stay on this sort of surface. So now on board with Perks as he starts his lap. Apparently not, but now it says it is. So we're going to see how he handles his lap. The McLarens have typically been pretty quick in Div 3. They locked out the front row last week in Portugal, but unfortunately both finished out of the points due to a rather chaotic and dramatic race, particularly in the back half. If you want to go watch that, I believe we've got stream archives up on Rapid Racing League's YouTube channel and on their Twitch channel. My cat wants to leave his room, so that's fair. It's not my room, it's his room. But Perks nails that Sector 1 quite nicely. Let's see if it's good enough for a purple Sector 1. And it is. It is! Sways goes even quicker with a 144.9, so that's a very good lap there from Sways. So I'll let my cat out. Go on, out you get. Do your cat things. I'm back on board with Perks. Continuing to take every corner as cautiously but quick as he can. Seems to be fault-free in Sector 2. We'll see what his Sector 2 time is. We've got more times up there on the top left. No one's been able to top Sways, with Fanatical being closest with a 145.205. We shall see how Perks handles this lap and see how he can put himself up on the leaderboard. Brakes very nicely going into the start of the Sector 3. But he's got Ain't No Kid for company in front of him. He was not getting out of the way. It's not very good. Oh, and he nearly loses it there, but handles it perfectly. Keeps the car on track without too much interruption. Ain't No Kid's still not getting out of the way, which might affect Perks' lap times. Bremer has wing damage, unfortunately, in that accident where he spun just when he started his lap. Let's see what Perks does. His lap looks good, but it's not going to beat Fanatical even. He sets a 146.0. Ain't No Kid has a 148.9, which is pretty competitive given the scope of times they've had here so far. The conditions throwing off a lot of the people here. I think we've got Fanatical who's spun out. Does he have wing damage? It's hard to see from this camera angle. It looks like he's fine. He might have side pod damage, but looks like it's okay. So Goffey goes 1.3 seconds quicker in Sector 1. Let's see how he handles Sector 2. So Perks with a decent lap there. We've got cars back in the pits after a few short laps. 10 minutes have passed since the start of Q1. We're on board with Stroker Ace here on his outlap. He's about to pass the Sector 2 timing thing and he's about to finish Sector 2's timing zone. But a yellow flag again in Sector 3. It's another Ferrari, so it's his teammate Salty. Don't know why. Does he have front wing damage? This is not a good camera angle to determine that. Indicated yellow flag. Another yellow flag. Yellow flags everywhere. It is chaos out there. But these conditions are not going to help. It's got to be a pen. We have I'm a Bird. We improved. We had someone just improve there, further down. Was it Goffey? I think it was Goffey. Goffey was slower than Urban Growth, but sets a 149.8. Now, I don't know if anyone watching this is watching the streams, but my personal advice is to not overuse your ERS and just stick with the same tyre, because that works. We've got another yellow flag further down. I think it is a Williams. It might be Ain't No Kid. It is indeed Ain't No Kid. Can't determine from this camera angle what's going on with his car, but it seems like his car is stuck. Maybe he just doesn't want to engage. Maybe the car just doesn't want to engage reverse. Is he going the wrong way? He is in. Oh, he's going the right way. I've just got the track map mixed up. It's hard to say, in my opinion, if Ain't No Kid blocked Perks, because he wasn't too far ahead. He should have definitely gotten out of the way, but other than the last two corners, yeah, it's hard to. I personally think it likely is, because the last two corners in particular looked a bit fishy. Anyway, no one's been able to top Sways, who is currently 3 tenths quicker, and Fanatical behind him. So it's looking pretty close between Fanatical and Sways as it stands. Keep an eye on the rest of the cars down below. We've got Hendo off the track in Sector 3. Getting out of the way for It's Your Boy here, who's currently in P6 and looking to go out for another lap. Greeny on an out lap. I'm a Bird starting another lap. Checking the map down below. Alright, It's Your Boy here starts another lap. Let's go on board with him and see what he can do. Hard to mess up that corner there, well, hard to mess up the straight, to be honest, but he brakes cautiously going into turn 1, turn 2, loses the rear a little bit, but handles himself rather well into this massive sweeping right-hander, which is honestly a part of the reason why this track is so fun in the game, because it's just such a fun flowing corner, it's smooth, and often in the real races you have two cars alongside each other down there, and it's a lot of fun. Let's see Sebastian Vettel and Danny Kvyat hit twice. You ask if there's really playing racing or ping pong. greenie on another outlap. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, and it appears to be a Williams from the darker blue. There are 3 shades of blue in this year's grid. Or is there? Can't tell. On board with War Machine, though. Let's see what he can set. He's typically been good enough for Q3 in several of these events, although how close the field is often... Oh, he's about to run off. Wow, he didn't DNF from that. What happened there? That looked very dangerous there. Don't know how he simply just drove off into the wall like that and didn't DNF, but anyway, he's going to have to go back in and pit and come out on the same set of inters or a new set. He's apparently out of fuel. I think he's just going to retire from session, or he's just getting out of the way of the Alpha Tauri of Rapid Hendo, who is setting a competitive time, or was trying to. I don't know if he's out on a warm-up lap or if he's setting another lap, because he's 2:11.742 is about 15 odd seconds slower than the next car. He crosses the line and sets a 1:47.0, so I suspect that increase of 24 seconds would imply he had an off on his previous lap, on his previous timed lap. It was good enough for P7 for Rapid Hendo, so that's a solid result there. As Sainz, just like Carlos Sainz, who doesn't get much airtime, goes under the radar and completely just kind of comes out of nowhere with a 1:45.4 in P3. So congrats there to Sainz for getting the car up into P3 there. I'm sorry I didn't see a lap there. That looked like a quality lap there. But not much... God, that was a bit risky there between Growth and Sainz there. Kind of hard to gauge where to go there, to be honest. Should have probably backed right off Urban Growth. But if Sainz is out on another lap, hopefully that hasn't affected his lap time too much. We're going to actually check in Sector 3. You can tell that they're trying to just avoid going proper full throttle in some of this, or they're just adjusting the steering just a little bit, just to avoid having the rear kick out on them. It's 2/10 slower in Sector 1, so I suspect maybe that incursion with Urban Growth has affected his pace a little bit. Got an invite from Pajala. We have a full grid. I'm in here right now, mate. I do appreciate your invite. Is that an inclusion to race? It's a full grid, so I can't, unfortunately. But we've got Kirko looking like he's setting another timed lap. Maybe. Hard to say. Check his Sector 1 time. We've got a slow Alpine. That's Goffey letting Sainz through. Let's see what Kirko sets for Sector 1. It's 5/10 down in Sector 1. He's set a 2:05.8. I suspect maybe... Unless my mic's fucked. Let's have some message from Scott. Alright, no problem. No problemo. What am I pressing? I can't see the stream overlay properly. Hang on a minute. Is he online on Xbox? I swear I have him on here. Apparently I don't. Right, hang on. Apologies, everyone. He wants to join, probably to share some insight on the conditions. It's absolutely fair enough. Read the chat, please. Yeah, what's wrong? What's going on with what's going on here? Why am I needed? Anyway, I'm a little confused. Hopefully I'm not fucking things up. So yeah, with 2 minutes 45 to go in qualifying, no one's been able to top Swayze's 1:44.9. But it's looking pretty close actually. We've got times within about a second from 1st to 8th, which is pretty exceptional. As Hendo goes 1.1 seconds quicker in Sector 2 to set a purple Sector 2. It's fantastic effort from him there. Hello, Pajala. Oh, and Hendo nearly loses the rear there.
There's good old Hendo for you.
Yeah.
Hi, mate.
Having a monster... Yeah, good. No, it's monster second sector there from Hendo. And, let's see if that affected his time, the spin there, and just start Sector 3. Looks like it's going to cross the line. He's going to set a mid 140 something. 145.6, which is good enough for P4. Fantastic lap there from Rapid Hendo.
Nice work.
Indeed. So are you qualifying, or
no,
are
no,
you
no. I'll
starting
start
from the back?
The grid. I'm a Div 2 boy, so that's the rules.
Have you included your
Yeah,
I'm guessing
I've included the audio,
easy.
mate.
Easy stuff then. So yeah, it's been an interesting quali session
It
so
has.
far, I got to admit, because the conditions seem to have caught out a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And
but it dries up, I think, in about Might dry up in Q2, maybe late Q3, and then it's a
Yeah,
dry
I
race.
suspect it could. Yeah, that should be
So,
very interesting then.
yeah, it will be. But yeah, look, conditions are good. I love wet weather. Big fan of it.
Yeah, likewise.
Hendo's going to do okay. The new guy, CBF,
P4
is
is very impressive.
Swave's been good in his first race.
Yeah, Swayze has just set it here. He's definitely set a very competitive time there.
I think someone was
3/10 quicker
foxing.
than anyone behind him.
Someone, I think, was foxing on their their admission form into Rapid Racing League today. I think someone might be a Div 2 pace, but anyway, we'll soon find out.
He's only 3/10 above Fanatical, who's typically been a pace setter in Div 3.
Well, Fanatical's
But,
yeah. So
wet pace typically brings everyone a lot closer together than dry pace.
Very true.
So, and even despite that, though, yeah.
What's your timer left on your clock, by the way?
It says, well, on the top left,
yeah.
for Q1.
Yeah.
I'll see it once the Sector 1, 2, and 3 yellow flag thing disappears.
Oh, yeah.
It's covering the whole thing. There's no yellow flags in Sector 1 from what I see, but apparently there is, and I don't know why.
Just wondering, because I had a massive desync last night. It only happened in Q1 for some reason, like the timing glitch.
Got 20 seconds left.
Yeah, you're right. You're all good. There's no glitch for you.
I was gonna say, I know what you mean with the desync, because that was when we were sitting on board with the Haas. There's like a minute left. Hot lap with Hendo. We did technically get a hot lap with Hendo. We saw an in lap with Hendo. I do apologise. Read the chat, please. I got told. Oh, I can't see these properly. I can't read these properly.
I can't read the chat at all because I'm not on. I'm just going around on a hot lap and I'll just retire now. But is anyone else on? I better get out of people's roads here.
Ain't No Kid is the only one, I believe, setting a timed lap. He is half a second up in Sector 2, which is looking good for a top 10 qualifying result here. Very solid effort from him there. We've got 5 cars, all of Q1, basically all of Q1's determined by people who haven't set times yet, which is very unfortunate for those who wanted to set times. But
damn it.
We've got Bremer and War Machine out on timed laps, I'm pretty sure. So we're going to see, Bremer's spun out, so Bremer will not be setting a timed lap in this session, unfortunately.
I don't think Bremer's quality. I don't think it was quality.
Right.
Him and Cloaking and me.
Ain't No Kid goes 10th fastest.
Go
Excellent
kid.
result there from Ain't No Kid. Wonderful result there. Good job, dude. We're now on board with War Machine, the second of the Williams, who's setting a time. I guess the Williams garage has saved the best till last.
Yes.
Thinking they can set some stonking laps to get them into the top 10. Just like they did here, and just like they actually did in Russia. What, Latifi qualified P9 and Russell was P3?
That's right.
War Machine goes 6th fastest. So that's fantastic there from War Machine to go 6th fastest with a 1:46.4.
Nice work.
So yeah, again, top 10 within a second of each other, or about 2 seconds there, roughly.
Make sure that everyone stays out of War Machine's internet plague, boys, because
Internet's not that good.
Oh, mate, you should go back and watch him, Monza. Div 3, and watch War Machine decide to make my rear end his braking zone, which was fun.
Oh.
Anyway, that was definitely interesting. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, not fun.
No, anyway.
Unfortunately.
I
think we are actually having a bit of a desync, actually, because we're on board here with Salty, who... he might be seeing a timed lap. Yeah, so there is probably a bit of a desync.
No, you said 20 seconds.
That's fascinating.
You're about right. It's all good.
It says here 55 seconds remaining, though, so he somehow managed to get a timed lap in there, somehow.
Okay.
Let's see, he's running P8 right now, though, so he's secure, but I guess he just wants to flex a bit. He's 3/10 up in Sector 1. So I don't know what's... Yeah, this game's just always got some new bug.
No, nice work by
Swayze.
Swayze. Fanatical.
Absolutely,
You've done a good job, insane. Teasy, good work, mate. P3, that's good work from him in the wet. Hendo, just the Scottish Terrier. So good to be racing with him again. But I'm right at the back with him. There we go. JDM gets disqualified. What did he get disqualified for?
I don't know. He was in the wrong direction apparently, and unfortunately just got disqualified from position. Salty hasn't validated that lap though, so
he's P8. He's okay. He's just box.
Yeah, he's okay in P8, but he will not improve from that. Just on board with all the cars just slowly going around. This will finish up once Salty crosses the line. He's currently going through the last 3 turns. Don't know what's going on there. I think that's the AI just trying to have a battle amongst themselves, maybe.
Yep.
But we will do a Hendo We'll do a Hendo hot lap, but Aussie Bogan hot lap in Q2.
Aussie
I do
Bogan-
apologise for that, McNeils.
Aussie Bogan. Then you've got to get Scotty to do the Aussie Bogan hot lap.
Oh shit.
Unless you can do an Aussie Bogan.
Isn't my voice already a bit Aussie Bogany?
Well, yeah, true.
Yeah, I get that vibe from myself that I sound more bogany than I think.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but Scotty, you know the cahoots from Perth, so it's pretty much everyone in Perth's a bogan or some type of bogan.
Yeah. Yeah, but same goes for some parts of Melbourne.
Oh, just wrapped out in the top 10, mate. I've gone...
Wrapped out the top 10? Well, here we go. So we've got Swayze setting a strong impression in P1 with a 1:44.9. Behind him, 2.5 tenths behind, is Fanatical with a 1:45.2. Further down the field, we have Signs, Hendo, Perks, War Machine, It's Your Boy here, or also known as Caden, RNG Salty, Urban Growth, and Mad Dog. And that rounds out your top 10 this session.
And the idiots that have been unfortunately eliminated or didn't set a time, Striker Racer, Cloaking, yours truly, ex-Bremer, and DJM, who's decided that his car needs to face in the wrong direction, all knocked out.
No, he wants to do a last to first challenge.
Last to first
That's what he wants to
challenge.
do. But
that would bloody Cloaking in front of you.
What we've got here, though, is a Q1 that effectively didn't... A Q1 elimination run that did not set a time.
There you go.
Which is a bit rare. A bit rare in this sort of... in any division, to be honest.
And good to see you back in Div 1 yesterday, SD.
Hey.
Nice to see you racing
Yeah.
again, mate. It's been a couple of weeks since we saw you on the track.
I don't think I'm going to be doing it for much longer, because I'm just not... I don't feel terribly happy being in Div 1 right now.
Mate, come on, mate. You are the reigning, defending Division 2 champion. You have to step up, mate. You have to step up and face the challenge.
Yeah, I've got what? Yeah, I know, but I've got what? I've missed so many races. Every one of my fellow Div 2 graduates around me have probably scored quite a bit more points than me at this point.
And Dutchy's done okay.
And
Actually, I must say, the guy that has really surprised me has been Hugh. I thought Dwells has actually stepped up. He got promoted. I know he just missed out on missing. I thought he's done relatively well. He's got some good, top 10 positions and stuff
Wells,
like that.
yeah, no, he's absolutely been wonderful to race with. Him and him and I were all pretty much even with each other.
Very true.
And so to see them do well makes me really happy, because I feel like I'm personally falling short of my own standards, because I don't play this game a lot. I haven't played a lot. I've been playing other stuff lately because there's been an influx of holiday releases. But it's really good to see those guys up there and scoring points, not on the regular, but at least being able to threaten the lower end of the points paying positions, giving them a good race. Because in my eyes, I'm starting to realise that scoring points doesn't matter as much as providing entertainment and providing a good race with someone.
Yes.
And I realised that in Russia last night, hovering around back down in P15 of all places, fighting Reptile and a couple of other guys down there. It felt like Norris, Russell and Albon in Russia 2020, actually. Those guys were further down there.
What's happened to your teammate, Ocean? He's just fallen off the planet.
I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. I have not spoken to him once. So I don't know what's going on there. But look, whatever he's doing. I know he's on Call of Duty on the regular. And to be honest, the new Call of Duty is decent.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't think that's fully the reason. I think he just probably wants a bit of a break from it.
Fair enough.
And to be honest, I suspect that there is an F1 game fatigue, because a lot of these games, new tracks, nice to see. The game does feel similar enough where you do get a little bit bored of it, particularly if you're not doing well, or if you're busy with other things, I feel. Anyway, we've got a lot of cars out. We've only got two... Oh, sorry, one second.
I'll just shut up now.
Oh, no problem. No, alright, mate. You can keep speaking if you want. I don't mind. It's just my cat wanting to come back in after an intermittent delay. Anyway, so we've got all but 3 cars. Oh, hang on. We've only got all but 2 cars. I didn't realise I was actually setting a timed lap right now. And the telemetry has disappeared again. Thanks. Anyway. All but 2 cars out on track currently, so that's a lot of cars out for the time. So we're going to go on board with Hendo when he's out, sadly. Oh, he's set himself in a neutral, so maybe his car's being fired up. We'll find out shortly. But it looks very dry out there.
Hendo wants to come into the party too, so I'm going to invite him.
Yeah, alright, that's all good.
We're all going to jump out when we get through, but...
You're alright, you're alright. It looks very dry out there, actually, as it stands. In amongst all that talking, it looks like, to me, there is not much moisture being wicked from the intermediate tyres, so it looks like it's good enough for dries. Maybe it's a little unstable, but
Told you it was going to dry
Sway
up.
sets the fastest first sector with a 36.666 as we've got a McLaren further off. I believe that's hit the wall, actually. Fanatical's car seems to have incurred some front wing damage. So we'll have a look.
Hey Hendo, how are you,
His
mate?
lane cars through.
Don't forget to include your audio. What's that?
Wonderful stuff. Welcome.
I wasn't sure whether I was meant to qualify or not, so I thought I would just do it. It's stuff.
Well, why not, eh?
Guess what?
I mean, if the lobby takes a colossal turd on itself, and let's be real here, this game's buggy enough where it might just happen. I can always punish your good performance by putting you further down if you weren't allowed.
That's all good.
But that was a cracking lap though in Q1 to go fourth fastest though.
That's it.
Yeah, I think my first lap out, I went purple in the first 2 sectors, and then just lost it coming out of that little chicane bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw that on board.
And then after that, it was just like trying to get round smoothly.
Displays with the
just gonna say,
148.982, so he's going a little
Very
bit quicker.
competitive there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He's nearly matched his time actually. I'm a Bird sets the only other
War-
time. Caden sets at
Machine's going out.
147.2.
War Machine, take a look. He's actually put the softs on. So
Bloody hell.
there we go.
He's
mate.
gonna take a gamble.
Well, he hasn't actually left the pits. My time, he's gone
Yeah.
back to the inters. Yeah. Bloody game
Nah, it doesn't
glitch.
look like it's quite stable enough yet. I reckon, give it 5 more minutes and I reckon they'll be all out on the soft tyre. But currently, as it stands, we've got 6 times set times here. And 7 now, actually.
Yeah,
DRS has been
it's-
enabled,
There
so
we
that's...
It's softs now.
that's
it's
drivable.
It's
softs
softs
now.
now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The softs are a second and a half quicker than the inters now. 2 seconds now.
So, absolutely soft tyre season. It is soft tyre season.
There we go.
As we've still got plenty of cars out on track on the inters. I suspect they're all that no one is going to be setting a time on these inters unless they want to get eliminated early. So
It's now 3
Cars-
seconds.
Yeah.
So it's just ever increasing as the track looks increasingly dry as we are on board with War Machine. We're gonna go on board with you, Hendo, when you're out in the pits, or out on track. Sorry, you're in the pits right now.
Yeah,
But when you're out on
someone's
track, we're going on board with you.
Yeah. Someone's got an
Niels-
Aussie bogan hot lap, mate. So
So I better go out and set a
Yeah,
time
exactly.
then,
I'd imagine it should be. So there we go.
I think this Alpha seat can be mine for the rest of the season anyway.
I think so. It's yours. It's yours.
The AlphaTauri is a lovely looking car
Love
this
it.
season.
My favourite car, mate.
Can't go wrong
my
with any of them.
My favourite car in the game. So
Really?
Yeah.
What, your
love-
favourite livery or?
No, I just love the car. I really do. Like the car, the engine, everything. Yeah, love the Alpha.
So, do I need to try and
For
do
me,
a
that's
lap
the
while
Ferrari.
still in the park?
You might as well. Why
Yeah,
not?
go ahead if you want. Go ahead. If you want. I
To
don't
talk
know.
you through the lap.
Perks goes fastest. He sets a 1:44.795 to sways in beating him for the top position on the grid as it
Done
stands.
one.
So that's a fantastic lap there
And
from
Tez-
Perks to
Tez
get
is
ahead
going.
of the otherwise dominant
Yep.
Tez.
He's
yeah.
going out in the mediums by the looks of it. He's going to think he's going to try and do the medium, so he hasn't left the pitch yet.
It's
So
Q2, isn't it?
it is cute.
Q2.
too.
Yeah. So a couple of drivers. So Sainz has been very
Okay.
smart there and
Oh,
adapting to the medium
Hindo's
tyre.
gone medium. A little bit of commentary.
Hendo also goes on the mediums, it seems. So that's going to be very interesting.
It's. I mean,
Got Goffey, who's still doing a lap on the inters and
Goffey.
is run wide. Hasn't validated, but those inters are heating up very quickly because there's no water to cool them down. So he's going to have to come back in as quickly as he can to change out those tyres for a fresh set. As we're on board here with Hendo's cast coming out of the pit exit.
yeah, you might want to wait.
Funky
wait
little
a
pit
lap.
exit. Yeah, no, it's all right. We're gonna be attentively watching.
on board
Anyway.
on the outlap. It's a bit-
I'm bored
Yeah,
on
on
the
board
other.
on the outlap. There's your Aussie Brogan outlap. Oh, we've got a Ferrari spinning, still on the intermediates. That's RNG Salty, who's just had a big moment there going in Sector 3. He's got a McLaren behind him for company. But as predicted, the McLarens are very high up there on the grid's order as it stands.
And just to
Fanatical's
answer,
still out there on the
just to
inters.
answer Bremer's question, why is Hendo qualifying? Because he's a Div 3 regular, mate. He's not a fill-in. He's actually he's racing the whole season in Div 3. That's why.
Well,
He's not actually reserved. For the rest of the season, yeah.
So that explains that. So get used to his presence because he'll be here and he's quick. He's showing a good outing for Q1 as it stands.
I mean, Russia is
and
like my
Q2.
fastest track, so...
Yeah, Russia's a fun track though.
Yeah.
Russia is a very fun track in the game.
And responding back to Rampage, Yano's got his prediction. He will be on the yacht with Kimi by lap 2. I think is Yano's prediction. So, what are you doing out there, Hendo? You're trying to smack
I'm letting people
barriers.
pass. But I forgot which side is the racing line down there because it like switches from one to the other, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah, very hard to tell through that.
Okay, so Hendo, you just be quiet, and SD is going to do his very best. Aussie Bogan commentary. Here we go.
Oh shit, mate. Where's the track map? Russia track map. Oh, this is not going to give me anything that I'm looking for. Urban Growth goes fast as the 135.1, but we're on board with Hendo. So we're going to see what Hendo can do. Oh shit, someone's opened up me door. That's okay. We're going to see how Hendo handles this first sector here.
At all.
I reckon you'll be right, mate.
Come on, War Machine.
War Machine needs to get out of the way, mate. Get the fuck out of the way, mate. Oh, he's invalidated. War Machine did not get out of the way.
Nah, he was
that
on a lap
doesn't look
as
good
well,
on War
though.
Machine's part. Yeah, still
He was on a
doesn't
lap.
look too good.
Oh!
And we'll be back with you.
And this is why we fail for 4 laps of fuel.
Yeah, fair enough.
Rady,
yeah.
Rady in the
cancel
chat
the
reckons he's going to be available Tuesday week. He's putting out the big guns. Rady v Kahoot. Where are we racing in 2 weeks'
A
time?
very interesting little... Guys, I found a Russia track map, by the way. I literally looked up Russia track map on Bing, and it came up with a Toro Rosso website link.
Oh, is that right?
So, yeah. Comes
How
up with the
fitting.
actual track map. So, yeah. So, Scuderia Toro Rosso, thank you for your old website still hosting important images for us to see. So, Urban Growth is the first driver to set a time on the dry tyre, which is a 135.104 on the softs, which is admittedly a little bit on the slow side, but I reckon as the track rubbers in nicely, if it does do that in this game, I still don't know, we will be seeing the lap times tumbling down. We'll yet to find out. We're seeing plenty of cars out on track. We're seeing Sways improving by 3 seconds in Sector 1, so that's looking particularly good there for him. He crosses the... he doesn't cross the Sector 2 timing zone. I've got that all mixed up. Whoops.
And the henchman in the group chat, absolutely 100% on the mark. War Machine is going to blame Telstra for the blocking episode of Nimbo. No doubt about it. Lock that away. Well done, henchman. Great call. One of the best comments I've seen on the group chat all week. Well done, mate.
Sounds immensely sarcastic, but Greeny's looking to set a good lap. He goes fastest with a 133.9 on the medium tyre.
I reckon
that's a good lap.
That's
there
actually
from
good
Greeny.
on the mediums, isn't it? 133.9.
Yeah, it's a very good lap on
Very
the
good.
mediums.
Very, very good.
He's shown that he can win races before, as he won the Austrian Div 3 race a couple of weeks back. Sways goes even quicker though with a 132.8.
Oh, there we go. Someone's been foxing
So-
Swayze. Patrick, your
So
ghost is
Swayze-
up. You're coming to Div 2. That's where you belong, Swayze. Just
We're dragging you into Div 2,
You're
mate. You're a
going
second
to
quicker
Div
than the cars
2.
behind you. We're on board though with Pirks to see what he can do with his medium tyres, his fresh set that he now has. He's shown to be incredibly competitive once again, showing a time that's good enough for 4th as it stands currently, even though he did that on the Inters. But he's 3 seconds up in Sector 1, and that was good enough for purple. So that's very impressive there. I'm going to go back on board with Hendo, because we've got to do the Bogan Aussie accent thing. Oops. I forgot about that. But as he heads down the turn 8 and turn 9 complex,
Do you want me to give it a
little
crack?
bit on the wide
Do
side
you want me
there.
to give it a crack,
Diving
Esther?
in. Sorry, what was that?
Continue on. I forgot he's on a hot lap. Sorry,
No,
mate.
you're all good.
Continue
You're all
on,
good.
mate.
So
Sorry.
as he crosses the DRS zone there to set, apparently they've changed the Sector 2 timing zone from this map, which is not ideal. But we'll see what he can do in Sector 3 here. It's a very tight and technical part of the track. Arguably the one where the most time can be gained, from the correct lines down to the correct application of the throttle. Salty goes 3rd fastest with a 134.0. Mad Dog 6/10 down from him behind. I'm a bird sets a 135.5. But we're going to see what Hendo can set here in the last 2 corners of this lap. Perks goes fastest with a 132.7. What can Hendo do? Can Hendo get up there? He sets a 134.8.
Oh, you know what he's done? You know what he's done? He's freaking lifted. He's lifted, Hendo. Just.
I had a couple of wobbles, alright?
You did a couple of wobbles. Who are we on?
Got Signs up there with a 133.3, good enough for P3. That's a lot of threes that was said there. That's, again, a very good lap there.
Who claimed the Aussie hot lap? Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate whoever it was.
I apologise for the butchering there.
No, that's okay.
My broken accent is...
Stay on here with Tezzy's sign. So anyway, mate, I've got my hand down my pants, got my tinny cracked open as he comes around this left-hander as fucking fast as you like. Wants to get it into 8th. Don't be a slow prick. Break down hard like you hit your misses. Straight ahead. Nice and hard. Again, up into 8th degree for Tezzy Sains. He breaks hard, whacks his misses on the outside curve. Doesn't even invalidate. How fucking good is this fucking bloke? Anyway, next corner. Whack, whack. Smackety smack. Smack it there. That's how you do it, Aussie Brokens. I can't keep doing that, though. Anyway, we're coming here on the back straight with Tezzy Sains and coming up to here what I like to call the male penis. It's got a bit of left, a bit of shape to the left and the right, and the drooping testicle as you go hard down. Oh, what's Tezzy done? He's taking his foot off the accelerator. No, he hasn't. He's actually gone through. Here we go, down to the drooping testicle. Nice and hard there into 3rd degree, and then he goes up the other testy. Not too bad there from Tezzy Sains. I'm pretty sure he's going to have a pretty fast lap as he goes into the little S's of stupidity. Don't see the point of this actual title of the S's, but he comes up into this short straight in 7th, breaks hard into 4th. He's not going too bad. Not bad, the Aussie got up. Down into the next one. 3rd, over the line. Push car, thank you much, P3. Now pit. Done.
Done. 4 tenths up from P4. So that's a very good lap there, and only 3 tenths off P1.
And somebody just took a whole second off their time.
Who did that?
Yikes.
Oh! Someone's lift.
Yeah, no lifting on that one.
Okay.
No
but
lifting on that one.
now I've done like 3 extra laps on my medium tyres.
Oh, that's right. So you got to drive like on those. There you go.
Shouldn't make too much difference, though.
No, not really.
And they're still only on 4%. So.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Fanatical set to purple sector 1 as we're on board with him right now as it stands. We're seeing plenty of cars heading through sector 3 to set their timed laps to gain their spot in Q3. Let's go quickly on board with all of them to see what they've done. Kirkos doesn't improve. He actually does improve. He sets a 136.5, which is good enough for P10. But it must have been invalidated. The Goffey is out though, so that's the 2 Alpines out. We've got more cars coming through to start their timed laps.
Yeah, we've got War Machine brought to you by Macca's Wi-Fi. He's on a hot lap.
I don't see War Machine, that's salty. So it's a 134.0.
What?
Wow. We're on board with now. He goes up 6.8 seconds.
Is Tez Signs Div 2 or Div 3?
No, he's Div 3. He's Div 3.
It's proper quick.
Yeah, Fanatical
It's just that
Fanatical goes fastest, 132.6, 1/10 ahead of his teammate in the McLaren.
Not too bad. War Machine's the last one on a lap, brought to you by Macca's Wi-Fi.
Gonna go on board with him. He's on the soft tyre. See what his times are good enough to get him into Q3 or not, as his teammate fails to get into Q3 with P12. 4 seconds behind 11th place, so I suspect he probably only had 1 lap. Made an error somewhere. 8.3 seconds up in sector 2 there. That's looking particularly strong, although he runs very wide and brakes very late.
He didn't invalidate, did he? Nah, he's still on go.
No, he didn't invalidate. He somehow managed to avoid that.
I think he's good enough.
There from him to avoid. Yeah.
You want to be looking here for a 24.25. Oh, geez, actually 27. Actually, he doesn't look too fast, to be honest. He's going to miss out, actually. He won't be top 10. He's probably on.
He needs to get a 135.1. He's invalidated. He would have gotten in. He would have gotten into Q3 had he not invalidated. He had a 134.9.
Okay.
And P10 is a 135.1.
Bloody
so
hell,
very unfortunate
Jesus
there.
Christ. I can do 135.1 in 6th, I reckon. But there you
There's
go.
your order. Got a McLaren front row lockout. Sway's dominated Q1, but in Q2 it's the rise of the McLarens. The McLarens are looking very strong heading into Q3, which is all dry now.
Yes.
Track's dried out from the initial wet weather turbulence in Q1. So we're going to be very fascinated to see what goes on here. as we're waiting for the game to eventually, get to the timing screen, the intermittent screen. That'd be very nice.
It's just hanging out doing nothing. It's stuck on 1 second for zero reason.
Lagging. I don't know what's going on. I'm actually going to have a quick look. Oh, I don't think I am, but I'm going to quick look anyway.
No.
I'm on phone.
No, you're good. War Machine's...
Yeah, I'm all good.
War Machine's just going round in circles like a teddy bear. And... Nah, it's his AI.
I was going to say,
It's his AI,
so.
And...
Has War Machine left?
I don't think he has.
No.
I told you, man.
No, if he leaves, then it'll...
We'll see what happens after this time's been set. I suspect the game will probably finish up after this time.
True. Again, his Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Like his AI is actually completing a lap here. You're taking the
And
piss.
improving.
And improving. That's how you don't invalidate a lap, War Machine.
I think it's AI.
No,
It cut the quarter as well.
There you go.
I think it
replays
the previous lap.
Right, War Machine, get the hell out of the lobby, mate, because your AI is just going round in circles.
We can't afford to have a lengthy interruption to these sessions.
Well,
as much as we can adapt around that, it is very inconvenient.
No, actually,
so
probably one of the longest interruptions on a lobby happened on Monday night. Thanks compliments of Muno, who decided to go and have a shower during Q2 and forgot that he had to ready up to get through. So we actually waited there for 5 minutes. Wow.
Lovely.
But mind you, actually, while I got Hendo here, and SD as well, you may not know this, but time for a bit of a plug. Tomorrow night is our first ever podcast. It's been a rapid week. And we're going to have Hendo, who's going to do Euro, myself, Kahoot as well, and a cast of thousands as we wrap up what happened in the week of Rapid League. Also taking a look at the Euros, what they got up, because they'll be Div 2 and Div 4, is it, Hendo, tomorrow? Is that right, tomorrow morning?
Tonight for us, yeah,
tonight?
Tomorrow for you.
So Div 2, Div 3 and 4, and then...
2 and 4, yeah, and then...
Yeah,
1 and 3 is the next day.
Yeah, 1 and 3 is the next day. So we'll take a look at that, have some laughs, maybe a couple of quite cheeky beers. Oh, there you go, War Machine's in the pits finally. There we go. Ran out of fuel.
Finally in the session.
You ran out of
The
fuel.
Discord is loaded with people trying to leave the session. He's actually gone live on Twitch, War Machine, apparently.
Has he?
And that might be why. Yeah, apparently.
Oh,
that might be why he's not been able to check, because he's probably been too busy getting the stream running.
Ah, right. There you go. War Machine, your internet
That
is
was
good
20
enough
minutes
to run
ago.
the game, mate. Don't think you're going to stream on Twitch at the same time. Anyway, he's in the pits, and we sit here and do nothing.
It should be done in 3 seconds as they roll the car in.
Yep, which is good. So we'll continue on to the next. Good time from Fanatical, particularly on those mediums, 132.6. He's going to be tough to beat, I reckon. And Perks is...
Yeah, those McLarens.
They're doing well. Who's leading the championship at the moment?
I'm not aware. I don't pay attention to this sort of thing.
Showtime?
Showtime. He's not racing tonight.
He's not racing this week.
Yeah, so Showtime has 122. McPing, who hasn't raced the last 4 races,
No, he's gone up to
119.
He's gone up to Div 2 full time.
So he'll fall down the order as other people.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Greeny's in
You're not going to
P3
believe
at the
this.
moment,
Guess
one
who's
away.
out on another lap?
No, but the game's finished up. We're on the replay thing. There you go.
There we go.
So there you go, everyone. There's your top 10.
Oh,
the top 10 who have managed to make it
God
in.
almighty.
Still not
10th running
doing
with soft tyre.
anything.
On my end, it's come through with fastest. So we're
Have
there.
you gone through to the...
Yeah, I've gone
Yeah.
through. Yeah. So
you both
anyway,
gone
our
through?
top 10 are
We've both
Fanatical,
gone through just
Perks,
then.
Sways,
Okay.
Signs, Hendo,
I'll
Greeny,
do.
Salty,
Alright.
Caden, Mad Dog, and Urban Growth, with Urban Growth being the only one on the soft tyre. The other 9 runners are on the medium, which gives them a considerable
There you go.
advantage over
There we go. We're all
cars
back.
in 10th, 11th, and 12th. Alright, as long as everything's working now, that's all good. So the people who were eliminated were both Alpines, both Williams, and a single Haas. I'm a Bird, Ain't No Kid, War Machine, Kirko, and Goffey are all out in Q2.
So
That's Q. That's your results.
that's it. Be interesting to see what happens. Let's see if Patrick
Absolutely.
Swayze if Patrick Swayze can get the job done and get himself on pole.
Can Swayze
Yes.
convert his solid performance into a first pole position on debut, or can the McLarens keep up their history of providing a front row lockout, or at least pole for the last 3 races?
That's
I
it.
believe that's been the case. They've been incredible, those 2 McLarens.
Yes, well, I mean, I could go with the irony sort of joke here. Will Patrick Swayze get out of the roadhouse, not ghost, and have the time of his life and put this car on pole? Jeez, I don't think I can get any more movies into a single line there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you went all in on the movie. Like, I don't watch a lot of movies, and I don't know what that movie is, but even I know what you're talking about.
The time of my life, Dirty Dancing,
I've still got my
Dirty Dancing, yeah.
my wet setup on.
Oh, you're in deep trouble,
lovely.
mate.
You can't change it, though.
No, I got it. No, just the front wing. Just the
Front wing.
My front wing was too
Extra
high.
downforce, mate.
Yeah, so that's why my medium lap was so shocking there.
Yes,
Right.
we've got that, Scotty.
And I've put too much fuel in my car as well, so...
I'm very smart.
GG's.
I'll have you know, Scotty, in the chat, that I'm very, very smart after 3 cocktails. I'm not smart after 4, but I'm smart after 3. But anyway.
First car out on track is the Ferrari of RNG Salty, the singular Ferrari in Q3 as it stands.
Scotty,
Q3 composition.
Scotty in the chat's gone. Muno's having a shower was quicker than that session.
Rip.
How's he enjoy it?
But anyway.
We should get... Oh, actually, we'd get Muno in the chat, but he's been banned by Xbox for 3 days for having a crack at it. Yep. He apparently had a crack at Storm Hutto, which I wouldn't put it up past him, because Storm Hutto dobbed him into Xbox for holding up the lobby. So there you go.
Oh, jeez. Well, you can get banned for a couple of days for some very simple things. Like, I called someone a pussy once as a joke, and they got me. That was enough to get me a comp ban for 24 hours.
God.
So take that for what you will.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're going on to Q3. The composition of Q3 is both Aston Martins, both Mercedes, both McLaren, so a lot of Mercedes-powered cars here.
Yes.
And then we've got a Red Bull, a AlphaTauri, a Ferrari, and a Haas. So we're on board with Salty, who is the first person to cross the timed line after this corner.
Yep.
On the soft tyre. We're going to see what his time is. Got some yellow flags down in Sector 3. The AlphaTauri and McLaren's there. Likely of Fanatical, who's usually always the first one out of the 2. And Endo. Don't go for pole, you'll die in the slipstream. Well, you know, I'm not racing, so that's something I fortunately do not have to worry about.
Yep.
As for you and 9 others in Q3,
It's all good, mate. I'm
too
in the back with cloaking, mate. I'll just watch I'll watch the turnings from behind. So,
fair enough.
yeah.
Gain 10 places from lap 1.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. That's exactly what I intend to do. Salt and pepper, not too bad in sector 1. A little bit fuzzy trying to go into
He's invalidated.
Oh, he's invalidated.
Yeah. So we're going to go to the Red Bull behind him of Sways, who is not invalidated his lap. He is on path to set a competitive time within reason. Of course, we don't know how quick he's going to be.
Yes.
We're going to watch him attentively. Every car is out on track right now. When you have 10 cars out on track, though, it's not all that cluttered, thankfully.
Which is this.
Quite
exactly.
a breezy part of the track.
Yep. Nice little line there from Patrick Swayze. Not too bad.
Indeed, yeah. Handled that really well there. Handles a little bit of sausage cab there going into those shithole S's, but
Shithole S's, alright.
yeah. I actually like that part of the track, but anyway, Sector 3 I really like.
He's on for 31, 32, will he crack 32?
32-1. You were half right. He
Yes.
said 132-111. He's currently on provisional pole. Behind him is Greeny, who we're going to see what his time is. It's going to be a couple of seconds down by the looks of it.
33 there.
Down. He says a 133-1.
Yep.
32nd down is Caden with a 134.024. So we've got plenty of variety of lap times here.
Yep.
It's your boy here, nearly hits the wall in after turn 2. Got Hendo setting a time good enough as P2 with a 1:32.951 there, so that's a really good lap there.
Nice work by the Scottish
Still
Terrier.
still 8 tenths short as Perks goes 1 second fastest with a 1:32.5, just 4 tenths shy of Sways. So, yeah, that's a very good lap there from CBF Sways.
Yes.
Fanatical slowing down, his lap's invalidated, so I suspect he's easing off to prevent further wear on his soft tyres, which they're like Swiss cheese. These tyres just get carved up super easily.
Very true. Urban Growth with a 1:33.7, nice time from him. Good to see him in the top
time. Yep, top. He's currently good enough for P5. He is 6 tenths behind Greeny. As it stands, that's a very solid lap as it is.
Mad Dog on the
Salty.
Yep.
He's invalidated, unfortunately, as is Fanatical. Mad Dog, you are correct. Thank you for pointing that out. Mad Dog is... Oh, he's gone way too deep there on that braking zone.
Reset the track, 10 seconds.
Science is invalidated. No, he didn't even reset the track. He's just doing some complimentary donuts.
Doing some doughies.
He's doing some complimentary donuts. It's not Abu Dhabi yet, mate. Don't celebrate just yet.
Exactly.
Back on board with Salty. Who apparently set a 1:35.5 in his invalid lap, which would have put him 7th.
1:34. Yep, 1:34 for Tez. But that's it. That's his warm-up. That was a warm-up lap.
Yeah, it's warm-up.
Yellow's in sector 2.
That's a rapid warm-up lap. And 3. Well, 1 and 3, actually. Aston Martin and a McLaren.
Yeah, no particular reason why the Aston Martin is still going around. So I've got zero idea what's going on. Unless he's slowed down for a reason.
Mad Dog has a banker lap in with a 1:48.3, but he's clearly going to have to go back around for another lap, and I believe he is just doing that right now. As he heads through that long left-hander for turn 3.
Oh, Tez just lucky just in sector 1. But
he's got an Aston Martin in front of him for company. Will that Aston Martin get out of the way in due course? Well, the Aston Martin spins off track for him, as Sainz nearly loses control as well. That was very risky there from Sainz. But was that Caden?
Salty's the next one across the line. In the Ferrari, he's about to come over the last 2 corners. He's probably on track for a 32. Right, he's just invalidated. The commentator's curse. So that
commentator's curse.
That will mean Sainz would be the next one to cross. No, he's not going to cross as well. He cannot.
No, he keeps it. He somehow keeps it within track limits.
Wow.
That's impressive. Good on him. Oh, I think he hit that wall there a little bit. Might have been latency, but it looked like he damaged his front wing a little.
Yeah, 32.5 I'm saying on this one. Maybe
32.8, which is good enough for P3.
There you go.
Wonderful lap there.
And if he clipped the lap
10th up from Hendo. I reckon he lost a 10th from that incursion, from that slight wide line there. Mad Dog improves and sets a 1:33.4.
I think Fanatical is coming over. Fanatical's coming across the line now. He's into the 29, so I reckon he's 32, 31.
Fanatical goes pole.
There we go.
1:31.9. Wonderful lap there from Fanatical to put it on pole by 2 tenths. And Sways immediately responds by being halfway across the track on his outlap, so he's keen on beating Fanatical for pole position.
Yep.
Plenty of cars out on their outlaps and plenty of cars. We've got 3 cars in the pit lane, so 7 of them are out. Trying to improve on their lap times, and that includes our provisional pole sitter, who I believe is actually in lap now, actually. But we've got 2nd place out to try and improve on his admittedly very impressive lap. No one could touch that for over half the qualifying session until Fanatical came in with a 1:31.9. So we're going to go on board with Swayze, just see what he can do. See if he can beat Fanatical to pole position here in Russia. Mounts the curb just a little bit there. Fortunately, you can mount that curb a bit and get away with it. It's 10th down in sector 1, so that's not the start he was looking for. So we see him go through this next sector of corners here. Salty back in the pit lane. Swayze somehow narrowly avoids invalidating his lap.
And he's hit that inside curb, which will then balance the car as you come onto the main straight. the back straight here. So, but he was able to manage to keep it through.
I'm going to see what his Sector 2 time is. It's going to be particularly interesting to see what he sets, and he's just down. So if he didn't mount that curb, he would have been up. He would have been up only a little.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to improve. He's actually come in real hot in the
Greeny spun.
Yeah, no, and Swayze's actually backed out of the lap. So I think he's...
looks like he backed off, so...
Yep. He just came in too hot into those S's. So I think he's going to charge himself up for one more lap, see how it goes.
Two Aston Martins are on their outlap, so the next car to cross the time line would have been Greeny, but he spun. So we're going to go back to the McLaren of Perks on an outlap. He's currently P3 with a 132.5.
And Fanatical's made his choice. He's not coming back out. 140, he's in the pits. So he's thinking his 131.9 is good enough for pole. So...
Oh no, hang on, we're seeing a McLaren coming out of the garage. I think he has come out. No, he's come out.
Oh, has he? Is he going to get... Oh, purple sector. Purple sector for Swayze. There you go. So just...
By 0.077, so just ahead.
Just ahead.
He's going to go down to the wire, I think. It's absolutely looking that way as it stands, with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go until Q3 finishes.
There's at least 1 or 2 tenths. Hendo's also going through. Oh, he's running out of fuel. He's actually running out of fuel. He could actually run out of fuel. He's
2 tenths up in Sector 2. Set purple, 2 purples. We'll have to find out. Hendo goes P3 with a 132.4.
Nice.
Very good lap there to gain 5 tenths there.
He's in the 25s. Going to this corner. He is in the 25s, so this is going to be close. Very close.
Absolutely. We're going to see what he can do. He does go fastest. He sets a 131.6. Gains 4 tenths. Gains a monster amount of time in that third sector to gain 3 tenths on Fanatical in the battle for pole position.
And Fanatical, is he going to have enough time to actually...
No.
He's not. He's left his run too short. So that would mean...
Got Perks though, who's up a 10th in Sector 2.
Fanatical's decided to do let's cut the corners.
I do that sometimes.
I don't think he's going to have enough
Swayze
time.
is retired from session. He's content with that time. He thinks it's good enough for pole. As Perks is coming across the line, will he beat him? It doesn't look like it. He might not. Super close margins there. He also sets a 131.6, but it's 6.86, not 6.23. That's Swayze's set. So pole's been determined by the closest of margins here in Russia. Barely half a tenth between first and second.
Nice.
Congrats to Swayze for setting provisional pole there. Hendo goes faster, but not enough to get into P3. But we'll start in the second row with a 132.2. We're on board with Sainz now, who's gone down in Sector 1. We've got a Ferrari further down who's setting a time, who hasn't actually set a time this session. So we're going to see what he can do with his single lap that he has. So on board with RNG Salty, heading into Sector 3 right now. Going through the shithole S's. Handles those rather nicely, actually, if I say so myself. And we're going to head into 125 before the last 2 corners, so I don't think he's going to be too far up the grid, unfortunately for him. He's going to set a 133 something. He's going to set a 133.9, which is 2 tenths off Evan Growth in P9, who's currently not far behind him, but Caden's invalidated his lap, so Evan Growth will be the next one to set a improved time. Evan Growth's up 3.5 tenths in Sector 2, so that's looking to be particularly good for him there. He might go up a grid slot.
You're not in the chat, mate, so I think Warner has forgot to log out of Rapid Racing League. He's had the Hendo for the ring, so I'm going to leave you to it. Good commentating at SD, mate. Thanks for looking at. Bit of fun with you.
No problem, mate. No problem, mate. I was going to say, Urban Growth goes P5 there. Very impressive lap from him.
Anyway, leave you to it, mate. Good comms. See you at the finish line.
No problem.
See you, mate.
Yeah, see you at the finish line, mate.
Catch up.
See you, mate. So there it is. Swayze by 0.063 sets pole position in his first race in Div 3. At least I believe it's his first race in Div 3. But behind him is the 2 McLarens of Perks and Fanatical, who are not far behind him, both in the 131 bracket. But behind him is Hendo with a 132.2. Then Urban Growth, Sainz, Greeny, Itsu Boy here, Mad Dog and Salty round out your top 10 of a Russian Div 3 RRL race. So that should be particularly interesting. as I'm now left to my devices all alone to commentate this race for you. Unfortunately, I gotta go pee, and I probably should have set the formation lap. I just realised there's a 30-second waiting period, so I'm gonna go pee real quick. That was the speed run for the world's fastest P there. So we've got 10 seconds left in the countdown. Everyone's hopefully got their setups done and their strategy set accordingly. I've got a nice cup of tea here and we're about to get ready for the RRL Div 3 race in Russia. There we go, 5 lights. 5 laps go, we've got Bremer with a jump start, so he's going to have to serve a drive-through penalty for that, but Sways gets away beautifully and flies ahead of second and third as Perks seemingly jumps Fanatical there. We've got some cars around there. Oh, we've got cars 4-5 wide going back further back of field. I think Fanatical might have hit the wall a little bit. We've got the contact between Fanatical and the Mercedes there, as we've seen Pajala get disqualified. So that's very unfortunate there. Maybe he forgot to start. Don't know what happened there, but he did get disqualified, unfortunately. So we've already got a retirement on lap 1, but isn't enough for a safety car. His car has subsequently disappeared from Earth. It's been vaporized for being disqualified. So poor Pajala there. Maybe he can explain in the chat, unless he wants to come back into the party and talk to us through as to what happens to his unfortunately short race. As Hendo has lost a lot of positions. He was up in P4 at the start, all the way down in P18 now. So do we have any damage on any of the cars here? We've got JDM last of the current runners. He seems his car is in good condition. It seems like everyone's actually had a decent start here. We've got Cloaking here who's ghosted. We've got a position swap for P9 between Greenie and War Machine as they're side by side going down into the heavy braking zone. The crisscross is not going to work here, nor is it going to be the battle of the braking, although Greenie dive bombed Stroker Ace. I believe accumulated some damage there. Although they're both running each other very wide off the track, and that seems a bit dirty there. Oh, we're seeing a lot of contact. That's not very clean racing there from them. Not good enough from War Machine and Stroker and Greenie, if I'm going to be frank. But CBF Sways sets the fastest lap and sets a very strong impression in this race weekend, or race hour. It's not quite a weekend. We haven't been doing this for 24 plus hours, but so we've got Perks behind him, just 4 tenths down. So the McLarens are content with keeping their podium positions as it stands, but will Perks get ahead of Sways? Perks looks like he's got the upper end on Swayze here. We've got the predicted AWS strategy, which usually gets things wrong all the time. We've got Sainz with a 3-second time penalty. He was the one who was spun by the diver of Fanatical, and as it stands, positions seem to be reasonably stable. We've definitely got some little clusters of cars. We've got Sainz and I'm a Bird battling for 9th. As Greenie gets up ahead in 8th. Stroker Ace has come into the pits. It looks like he had a front wing change, so it looks like he accumulated some damage there. As Sainz gets ahead of I'm a Bird. I gotta turn on the telemetry, because I don't know why they disabled all this, but I'm a Bird slows off and Bremer gets ahead. He has a drive-through penalty over his head though, so I suspect that's gonna throw that admittedly very solid start out of the window, all for nothing. Pajala leaves the session after being disqualified on lap 1 for some reason, we don't quite know. I suspect the game's been the game, as we're on board with a ghosting Cloak, so I guess he is technically cloaked, but he's not racing, so that's very unfortunate. So Stroker Ace has some easy pickings up in front, he's just got to catch up and take 18th. As it stands though, Sways is still in front with Perks nipping at the rear of his car there as he sets the fastest lap of the race. Sainz and Bremer swap places further down the field. Like passed him rather convincingly there actually. We're going to see if any other cars dive into the pit lane to fix the onboard, to fix any damage with their wings or side pods. Well, you can't fix the side pod damage, but nonetheless, they might come in to change their plans. Swapping places. We've got Kirko down in P18 for some reason. Has cloaking started? No, he's still cloaked. The world has turned and left him there, it seems. So on board with Swayze, who's still leading this race. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. It is a Alpine, or a Williams, or both. No, it's an Alpine. JDM and Goffey seemed maybe to have had contact, but it does appear to be instigated from the cars further up the field. Maybe ain't no kid, maybe, I'm not sure what's going on there. But anyway, Kirko's in the pits to replace his front wing and to change his tyres, as that's mandatory when you go into the pits. So he's out on a set of soft tyres for some reason. It's a little bit of a weird choice, but Stroke Race is now up into P18 as a result. Further up a field, looks to be pretty stable. We've got Hendo 3/10 behind on Bird, who has a penalty over his head. Not quite sure what happened there. He might have tried to get out of the way and got a penalty for, you know, trying to be safe and not take out anyone in the race, maybe. As Hendo takes P10 in a wonderful move there. Seals the deal and stays ahead in a points-paying position, so he's recovered rather nicely as RNG Salty stopped on track. I think he should have been ghosted there. It could have been a nasty accident there, but Salty's lost a lot of places there. For some reason, we don't quite know what happened there. Maybe he ran a bit wide and bumped into the wall or something, but he's just lost another place to JDM. We see another car going into pits. That is Bremer serving his drive-through penalty, and unfortunately for his efforts, gets a 5-second time penalty for speeding in pit lane as Salty leaves the session and is now a ghost. So that's 2 ghosts further down the field. Easy pickings for the 2 cars behind, because they are considerably slower in ghosted mode than they are if they were actually driving. So Bremer is still going on. He's got Salty to overtake as Cloaking is coming down the last 2 corners. Further up a field, we've got Perks 6/10, now nearly 7/10 behind. Officially 7/10 behind now, Sways. So Sways is holding that lead very nicely there, all things considered. He's handling the pressure well from Perks. He was a proven race winner. Apparently he's driving without a helmet, which is, in real motorsport, very illegal. Very dangerous, but the mad lad, he's driving with just his fireproof balaclava on. So, I don't know how that kind of thing is still in this game that long after in. But Fanatical's under threat from Urban Growth and Mad Dog. The 2 have got DRS on him, and it looks likely that Urban Growth might make a move for P3 here. We're going to go on board with Urban Growth. No, he's not going to quite make that move just yet. Maybe in the next DRS zone. So I don't see any movement further in the field. Looks like everyone's separated quite nicely, actually. Except for this battle pack here and the battle for the lead, obviously. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. That appears to be a Mercedes. He might have reset the track, judging by that. But Perks sets the fastest lap. Sainz gets up into P6. He's going to go back on board with Urban Growth. He's not going to quite make that, but Perks might just make the dive here. I don't think he will, actually. That's way too far back. That's way too optimistic. Urban Growth will not make that dive either. I'm going to go have a look further down the field. Actually, never mind, because look how close this is getting. It's now within about 3/10. Has Swayze's tyres worn out on him a bit earlier? Has he been pushing a little too hard? He's got a bit wider and probably accumulated a warning for his efforts. As Perks goes even quicker in Sector 1, so the pressure's now mounting as War Machine and Ain't No Kid swap places, and Fanatical has garnered a 3-second time penalty. The 2 Williams alongside each other. Was likely quite a harsh pass there, if I'm going to be honest, but Fanatical has made his race just that little bit more difficult by getting a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. 7/10 behind him is Urban Growth. As we can see here, Urban Growth is definitely not letting him go with P3 that easily. Further down the field, we've got Hendo holding up solidly in P8. Had a great qualifying session, was in P4, but lost a lot of places and has made rapid effort to get back up there into the points-paying positions. We've got 2 Hasses rounding out the points-paying positions, and in fact, they're right next to each other. I don't know what happened there, but it seems that my interval timing thing glitched. It's glitched. But Greeny makes a wonderful pass there on Armour Bird with DRS and seals the deal with that braking just to stay ahead of Armour Bird. So that was a wonderful move there by Greeny to keep that position and to gain P9 and 2 points as it stands. So my timing has glitched out for some reason. And this could be a pass for P1 here. Swayze stays in the inside there. From Perks. Oh, they're side by side going into turn 3, but Perks seals the deal and gets ahead going into turn 3. I don't think Swayze's done just yet. The Mad Lad's driving without a helmet, but that hasn't stopped him from making that move and keeping P1 in turn 3. So that's a wonderful move there from Perks there. We've got Urban Growth 3/10 behind. Ain't No Kid and JDM have swapped positions. Looks like through DRS. As the two Hasses remain close to each other despite the position swap. But further down the field, we don't have many cars looking terribly close to each other. We've got Kirko not far behind the two ghosted cars. I'm going to go back briefly on board with Kirko to see if he can make a pass on Strecker Ace. It would, in his AI form, would be considerably slower than if he was actually driving. Kirko's going very wide there. Nonetheless, looks like Sways might make a pass on Perks for first place once again. There's going to be another change for the lead here as Sways dives down and does a wonderful pass, but loses it from braking too late. So Perks gets back P1 for his efforts. So that was a wonderful exchange there between our leaders as it stands. Sorry, the bloody lack of helmet on Perks is really throwing me for a ringer here. I find that very amusing. But anyway, Fanatical still holding P3, but not far behind him is Urban Growth. I suspect we might see two passes for the lead here. Let's go on board with Swayze. He's 2/10 behind. We're going to yellow flag in Sector 3, and it looks like an Alpine. It looks like the Williams, sorry. Swayze gets ahead on DRS. Will he keep that position in braking? He will. Mad Dog has a 3-second time penalty. But that was a wonderful move there. We've been seeing some excellent battling here between Perks and Swayze here for the lead. So, fantastic stuff from these two. Very wonderful battles here we're witnessing here tonight. We go further down the field again to see what's going on here as War Machine is in the pits and Bremer takes P14 as a result. Goffey sitting stable in P13, the leading Alpine, as Kirko gets ahead of Strecker Ace eventually. He's now 2.8 seconds in front. As Salty gets ahead of War Machine. So he's pitted for mediums and a front wing change. Further back up the field to the leaders. Seems like the gap's stabilised just a little bit, but with DRS, Perks might gain enough to pull a pass on Swayze. It's hard to tell at this point in time. He's 3/10 behind just before the braking zone. He's 2/10. Could have technically, might have made a dive for that, I'd say, but that'd be a very risky dive and would have required the utmost attention and respect between the two as Swayze and Perks approach the lapped car of Stroker Ace. The soon-to-lap Stroker Ace's AI, who has departed from the race or is just on pause. I'm not sure why. Maybe the poor start, maybe he just wants to go to bed or something. You know, if he wants to go to bed, he wants to go to bed, that's fair enough. But Swayze sets the fastest lap there and sets an impression that he's not keen on losing first place to Perks just yet. So Perks gets DRS on him yet again. Will it be enough though to insinuate a pass? Goffey has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, which usually means track limits. We've got Urban Growth here. He's flying. Fanatical's looking like a sitting duck here. He might dive down the inside. Nope, they just hold each other to their respective places as I'm a Bird gets ahead of Mad Dog, who pits and leaves JDM back into the points. Although that Mercedes has been pretty quick. We're a yellow flag in Sector 1. It is an Aston Martin of It's Your Boy here. We don't know if he has front wing damage. It's hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like he might have ran a bit wide there as Greeny takes the position. So it's now a battle between It's Your Boy here and Greeny for P7. 5/10 down is Urban Growth on Fanatical, and 5/10 down equally is Perks on Swayze. So as it stands, the podium places are definitely not settled in stone just yet. So we're about to pass another lap's car as Perks looks to look on the inside line there. Will he dive? No, he won't. He just didn't quite have the space. As Kirko has a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Assuming that's probably to get out of the way of the other two, but it's hard to say at this point. Got Urban Growth just 4/10 behind Fanatical there. If he keeps that gap, he's going to get past him on the main straight. Further down the field, the next closest battle is It's Your Boy here with Greeny, about 8/10 the difference. Our focus today, and as it stands on this lap, remains on the top 4, who are very closely battling one another and are showing their excellent drive or adequate. And as it stands here, Perks very likely to dive down here. No, Swayze holds out and laps his teammate. And Perks, I don't know how he got a 3-second time penalty there, but he did. And Urban Growth barely has any ERS. Not enough to be able to make a pass on Fanatical, who's expertly managed to maintain a sufficient level of ERS to keep ahead of Urban Growth. Likewise for Perks, and Swayze is actually using a lot of it to keep ahead of Perks here, so Perks might actually have the upper hand a bit later in the race, especially in the pit stop window. As the tyres might be worn out, Perks will be able to use his straight line speed advantage over Sways to get ahead at some point later on in the race. Better hide that UI element. But anyway, so that's that. Brakes a little bit buggered from talking for 9 laps stop. I did actually have a sore throat last week, so that was quite fun to deal with. Feeling that again. So hope I don't get a sore throat from commentating every week. Massive shame. My throat is a little dry though, so I may as well have this cup of tea. That's now a little cold. Perks is now 2/10 down. I reckon a pass could be done here. Look how much ERS he has over his teammate, over his competitor there in P1. We have a yellow flag in Sector 2. It's a Haas. It's Greeny. I suspect there might have been an incident there between Itsy Boy here and Greeny, but it looks like Greeny has not accumulated any damage from that, thankfully. He's managed to avoid getting any major damage to his car. We're seeing a pass here. Potential pass here between JDM. JDM dives down the inside and takes P8 and holds it wonderfully. Further up the field, there's another position swap. It's between Perks and Sways, the leaders, who've been leading every lap this race. These two have always been leading all the laps currently so far. All 10 of them, I might add. And it's not quite done yet, as they are a 10th ahead, a 10th difference, but Urban Growth gets ahead of Fanatical. So we've been seeing a lot of position swaps in the podium places. And Perks sails away ahead of Sways there. The lack of ERS coming to bite him. And Perks is using his ERS in this part of the track. Fanatical has gained another 3-second penalty for track limits as he gets past Urban Growth for P3. Will he manage to keep it going into this corner? Yes, he does. Wonderful stuff there from Urban Growth. As Swayze also accumulates a penalty, so the top 3 all have penalties. So if Urban Growth keeps it solid, he could be in for an incredible result again. P2 last week, after qualifying in the lower end of the top 10. So he's been a consistent performer when it comes to races. He's shown time and time again in Div 3 since I've been commentating that he's been able to keep it clean, keep it consistent, and score big from that. As Greeny is now just 4/10 behind JDM as we're heading near a DRS and we're not quite there yet, but this is looking likely to be another pass. As in this view, we have 3 Ferrari-powered cars from the 3 Ferrari-powered teams. A lot of red in the Ferrari-powered camp. It's almost as if Ferrari's favourite colour is red. That was Enzo Ferrari's favourite colour. Is Perks and Sways are now 8/10 the difference, so Perks has had a flying lap. We're going to go on board with Greeny here. Will he dive down the inside? No, he'll just tuck in a bit behind JDM there and go into turn 11 and 12. Itsy Boy here has a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings, so I suspect, again, track limits. Growth is now a second down, so I suspect that DRS pass was a bit like Perez getting past Hamilton in Brazil. Probably used all of his ERS that he had to keep ahead and then didn't have any to defend next time around, which is unfortunate, but it is the way it is. In these races, you run low on ERS and you're going to be a bit of a sitting duck on long straights. As we go further down the field, we're not seeing much battles happening further down. We're seeing a lapped Red Bull, but we're seeing Itsy Boy here in P7 comfortably as we see Ain't No Kid pitting and I'm a Bird accumulating a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, aka track limits. Let's see what Ain't No Kid does, and let's see what the Williams virtual pit crew does to give him a good stop and to give him a chance of being in the points, as both Williams are out of the points. Kind of like in the actual F1 season, actually, but yeah. So what have you guys been thinking about this race so far? Has this been a good race? Leave us your thoughts below, leave us your thoughts on the drivers. Anything flies, as long as it's not defamatory. Got Ain't No Kid out in P16. Got these two, we've got the leaders close again. These two are definitely, they're the closest pair on the track right now. The top 2, as Swayze has using ERS before the DRS zone, which isn't ideal, but it looks like it might be enough for him to get past actually, as he passes yet again for P1. Will Perks be able to hold on? No, he won't, but there's another 2 DRS zones later on this lap, and the gap is still very close, so he might be able to get back past the P1 as Urban Growth pits. He's in the pit lane now, so Signs and Hendo go up for P4 and P5 respectively. I have to say, very clean driving from everyone this weekend, or this race, not this weekend, but very clean driving from everyone. It's been good. Barring some little incidents here and there, it's been very good to watch. Everyone give each other the space and the respect on track. As Greeny and Bremer gain places, but Bremer is not content with gaining 1 place. He's gaining 2 places. Dives down with DRS. He keeps 7th place ahead of Greeny. So Urban Growth comes back out in P9. There's his car. The vaguely green Aston Martin. Bremer has a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. As he likely got that, probably mounting a bit too much curb, I'd say. That's a very possible thing. I know I did that on a practice lap. So JDM is out in P13. Still a solid chance of getting points here. Only 4 cars, have no penalties, but one of them is ghosted and is about to be lapped by what appears to be Signs in P4. I'll actually confirm that one for you. No, it's Mad Dog in P10. Battle for the lead here as Perks runs very wide there and likely accumulates another warning and loses a lot of time actually, but he still has plenty of ERS and DRS to back him up there, so he's going to gain a lot of time on the straight as Swayze is recharging his ERS. Isn't quite enough though to make a move for P1. I just realised we're going to see another battle soon for P4 as Hendo's rapidly gaining on Signs here. It looks like he's actually gaining quite a bit. It looked like it was about 2 seconds last lap. He's now 1.1 seconds as I've just pressed the wrong controller to switch camera. I have like 3 Series X controls all on this desk here and I pressed the wrong bloody one. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. It appears to be a... Oh, I've just done the same bloody thing again. I'm guessing it's Kirko. Has Kirko got front wing damage? Yeah, he's got his right end plate removed from his car, so he's either broken too late. Oh, that was very close there. Is he's lapped by Greeny? No. Oh, he's lapped by I'm a Bird. So he has to go back in and pit again. Very unfortunate there from Kirko. As the battle for the lead here still rages on, actually. It hasn't been above a second all race, I think. It's been an incredible battle to watch. I hope you're enjoying this. If you like what you're seeing here, and you're new to this channel, you're new to this Twitch channel at least, we also have a YouTube channel. RRL has a YouTube channel where they upload their highlights from every race in the European and Australian divisions. So if you want to watch these after they're live, after they're done live, you can go onto a YouTube channel, which is Rapid Racing League, and watch them there. Or you can watch the archives if they're up on here. I'm actually not sure if the archives are up on here, but someone can confirm that for me. We've got Hendo very quickly gaining, but I thought he was going to dive in there. He might have tried to pull a bit of a cheeky fake out on Signs there. But it looks like Hendo might gain enough DRS to get ahead of Signs here in P4. Let's see what can be done here. Can Hendo get ahead? It's looking very good here. He hasn't got much ERS though. Might not be enough in the end. He's slowing just a little bit. No, he's going to make the dive. He is indeed. No, he's not. Just narrowly misses out on making the move there for P4. Looked like he was going to make a dive for at least a few seconds there. So Urban Growth and Greeny are 2/10, but there's DRS, so Urban Growth will definitely gain this place over Greeny, barring some forceful blocking. But Urban Growth gets ahead of Greeny for P8 in a wonderful move. Calculated and smooth with DRS. Have that for your highlight reel. Didn't mean to burp after that, I blame the milk. As JDM now has a 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. He is currently down in P13 as I'm a Bird. I'm going to move that controller as I'm a Bird pits in P15. So we're going to see what his tires are. He's done 14 laps on those mediums. Set into and he's going to go on another set of mediums apparently, which I believe will warrant a disqualification if he finishes. I believe he pitted earlier on though, because he did make it. I believe he did just make it on the upper echelons of Q2. So anyway. Seeing Perks here making another move. He will make this move. He's going to go down the inside and take back P1, although they're alongside each other going into P2. Wow, Swayze held on that brilliantly. With a recharging ERS as well, with significantly less ERS, he's managed to hold on. So this battle's absolutely not over yet, as we've got more of a track. It's barely half distance, and these two have been battling all race long. So this has been a truly wonderful race to watch. These two, absolutely marvellous racing here. Bremer and Urban Growth gain places, as does Greeny off the back of Itsy Boy here, pitting from P7, I believe, P6. So Bremer is now in P6, having needed to have a drive-through penalty gaining places quite consistently, so he's been on fire today. He's been one of those movers. So we have Salty and Goffy gaining from It's Your Boy here pitting as he exits pit lane. So does JDM, currently in P12 for Alfa Romeo. Oh! Looks like not enough room was left there between those two, and Salty is left without a front wing. That didn't look too good on our perspective there, as we have a Red Bull that's slowed down. That could have been... That was Swayze. Something's happened further into the track there. And Swayze doesn't have... Swayze, does he have front wings? Hard to tell with the ghosted car there. Put us back on the... Yeah, he's going into the pits. So is Perks though, so I suspect maybe they both have damage. Maybe they both have damage, so their close battling all race long has accumulated in potential damage as Fanatical goes in, so McLaren are doing a double stack, which leaves Sainz, unless he pits, to be the net leader of this race. No, Sainz pits as well. It does Hendo. Hendo does not pit. He is on the medium tyres and he's wanting to go just that little bit longer. Sainz pits. Bremer, we don't know if he's pitting yet, but Hendo will come out to lead for a lap, unless Perks has a wonderful stop, and it looks like Perks does have a wonderful stop, but Hendo isn't too... No, Hendo doesn't take the lead. War Machine has a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits, and Perks stays ahead. Swayze now in P3, but Hendo is yet to pit. Bremer takes P4 from Urban Growth. Urban Growth and Bremer are now battling for P4 with Fanatical and Sainz coming out of the pit lane. Urban Growth takes 4th from Bremer in a wonderful move powered by ERS and DRS, and he keeps P4. Fantastic move there from Urban Growth to keep that position as 6 to 9, nice, are all coming out of the pit lane. Now 10th and 11th. Sainz has accumulated a 3-second penalty, seeing track limits. He is currently running P7 and is 4/10 behind. JDM and Goffy exchange places, as does Mad Dog and It's Your Boy here, through Mad Dog pitting and coming out of the pit lane and having a speed disadvantage as a result. Salty and Mad Dog are pitting. Ain't No Kid has a 3-second time penalty, very far back down the grid. He's very slow actually. Don't know if he's about to be lapped. No, I'm a Bird's actually not that far behind him. As the Ghost of Christmas Past Stroker Race pits. And does the Cloaking Cloak do so? No, Cloaking Cloak stays out. Coco, the last of the runners, had one retirement this race, and that was not even a retirement, that was a disqualification. Still don't know what happened there, but Pajala was disqualified for some start infringement or something. Something in that ballpark. As Hendo now goes into the pits from P2. He's had a great stint there on those mediums, 17 laps. Got Swayze back in P2 with Perks quite considerably further up the road than he was before the pit stops. We don't know what happened. I didn't see what happened. The cameras weren't on that battle. As it stands, Urban Growth now gains a net P3, possibly even further up, depending on the extent of the penalties from the top two. So Urban Growth with another amazing race. But Bremer is not done with that. He wants to take back P3 as he dives down the inside and takes P3 away from Urban Growth. Hendo comes out in P7, so Hendo had a great pit stop there. Quite considerably ahead of the cars behind him. In fact, P7 and It's Your Boy here sets the fastest lap of the race. Quite late on, actually. Quite surprising that he's on the soft tyre. Maybe the soft tyre can last the next 10 laps. We'll have to find out. And Goffy pits from P12, it seems. Maybe P11. Battle between Bremer and Urban Growth has definitely not died down yet. It's still less than a second between those two. So that's a fascinating battle to watch. So we're on board with Urban Growth in P4 for Aston Martin. The lead Aston Martin, both of them are in the points this race. So wonderful stuff there from the Aston Martin duo to accumulate a nice amount of points, 12 and 1 respectively. So 13 points as it stands for the two Aston Martins. Seeing Perks set the fastest lap on the soft tyre. He's flying, but so is Swayze, as Swayze sets an even faster lap with a 1:33.6. That's quicker than some Q3 qualifying laps. That's a fantastic lap there from Swayze there, as he's gained about a second on Perks there. So it's absolutely not over yet, as Bremer dives to the pit lane and Urban Growth takes a net P3 as a result of that. So we'll see where Bremer comes out. I suspect Bremer will be out in P8, likely, or maybe even P9, as Fanatical and Sainz get ahead to grab P4 and P5 respectively. So it's been a very, very entertaining race so far. Lots of track action, Lots of on-track action, as I should say. And it's just been fantastic to watch. I've been very happy with how this has all turned out. Got X-Brimmer coming out in P10. He might lose P11 here. He might even lose P11. No, War Machine does an optimistic rally-style dive into the pit lane and pits from P12. Bremer comes out in P11 with a comfortable gap behind him. Goffey overtakes War Machine by virtue of War Machine being in the pit lane. Not many on-track battles on right now. The closest is Signs and Fanatical. The gap between those two right now being less than a second. It's very close here between these two. We might see a pass later on depending on the ERS amounts, but Fanatical is using his ERS to keep ahead of Signs in the DRS zone. And Signs doesn't have as much ERS. As War Machine gains from Umberbird's pitting. Umberbird. No, Ain't No Kid might gain ahead of him as well. Yes, Ain't No Kid does gain in front. So Ain't No Kid does take P15. Oh, Signs spits. Sorry, not Signs. Fanatical spins. Spun where I spun. Sorry. So he's just lost 3 positions there. Well, 2 positions technically as he goes. Does he go back in the pit lane? He does indeed. Oh no, he runs wide. Oh no! He's out of the race! He crashes out trying to get in the pit lane. He went too fast, overcorrected, and crashed. That could be a safety. That is indeed a safety car. So poor Fanatical there, through no fault of his own really, dives just a bit too much into the pit lane and crashes out. So will that bring in a flurry of pit lane activity? We'll see. They kind of can't go through. Kirko is disqualified from session for blocking the pit lane for some reason. Isn't really his fault there, because Fanatical crashed in the pit lane, so that's very unfortunate there for Kirko. Very sorry there. Don't worry about that, mate. That wasn't your fault. That's just the game being overzealous with penalties. As we have the Aston Martin of It's Your Boy here coming out and pitting P9 in an attempt to gain some positions there. As you see on board with Bremer, just finishing his pit, we just see what team he belongs to, the Alfa Romeo pit crew, brandishing their gear. And the safety car period allows us some time to relax. Until it all restarts again, and we have a very close battle between our leaders, between the people who have led the laps in these races. Perks and Swayze, they've been leading almost every lap in this race. And my guess is once the safety car bunches everyone up together, it will continue being a very close race between those two, because Perks had a comfortable gap there before all that, and now that's been neutralised. He will gain some time on him as we see another car in the pit lane, I'm pretty sure. We see a Haas in the pit lane. It seems like it's Umberberg. And Ain't No Kid pits too. So that's only 3 cars pitting, I'm pretty sure. 3 or 4 cars, I'm sorry. And this week, in this race, we have the Aston Martin well, not V8 Vantage, that's the 90s car, but we have the Aston Martin Vantage safety car, which looks quite lovely if I say so myself. I love that design from Aston Martin there. It's a lovely body design there. Powered by a Mercedes V8 and also mated to a 8-speed ZF gearbox, as far as I can remember. I might actually look that up, actually. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case. But I know it's got an 8-speed gearbox in it. But, anyway. That's a fun fact. It matches the 8-speed gearboxes in these cars. While not produced by ZF, the 8-speed gearboxes in these cars are often built in-house. So Mercedes has their own gearboxes, McLaren has their own gearboxes. Umberberg just ignores everyone there and just dives through. I think it's because he's been lapped, so he's allowed to go through, but kind of came through in an awkward spot there. He got a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag, so I suspect maybe he's just ignoring the rules and is trying to gain time there. But anyway, and Red Bull makes their own gearboxes. Ferrari obviously makes their own gearboxes, and in fact they're shared with Haas. I don't know if they're shared with Alfa Romeo though. That I don't know. And of course Alpine has their own gearboxes. And of course this also goes into other things like how teams have their own suspensions or sometimes share their suspensions. I might have mentioned this last week, but the AlphaTauri, I did mention this, so I'm not going to continue that fun fact again. So, safety car is still out. Obviously, if it is coming in, I didn't see the timing warning, but it doesn't look like it's diverting in, and it'd be doing it very late if it was. So as it stands... Anyway, on lap 20 now 21 as we cross this line. Lap 21 off 27. We have Perks, Swayze, and Urban Growth rounding out your podium places. The rest of the points positions are going to Signs, Hendo, JDM, Mad Dog, Greenie, Goffy, and it's your boy here. So those are, as it stands, the points, the drivers who score points in this Div 3 race in Russia. The Rampage in Russia. Sponsored by Sully's. Sully's t-shirts. They're good shirts. Check them out. Don't think we have a watermark on this, but do check them out. Got cloaking. Now you see, I wanted to make a joke there, but I didn't want to potentially. I mean, given that the CBF means chicken, burgers, and fush, I guess because he's cloaking, he can't be fucked. Get it? Get it? I own credit to that joke. No one can take that from me. There's Hendo and JDM. Oh no. I guess because everyone's gapped up very closely. The cars are spread very wide here, actually. Interesting. Severe collision between Urban Growth and Signs. Wow. So a minor collision there has given Signs a big penalty, but has kept Urban Growth scot-free from penalties. That's fascinating. Don't know how it didn't penalise both of them, but I guess in Urban Growth's case, he'll take that. Unfortunate for Signs though, as he's had an amazing race, solid all weekend, qualified third, I believe. No, fourth and fifth. He qualified somewhere in the top 5. I believe 5th, actually, now that I think about it. He's been up there nearly all race, in spite of contact and in spite of rough start that everyone had encountered. Mad Dog also has been very impressive. He lost quite a few places from the dive from Fanatical earlier on, who has since retired from the race. So as it stands, we have 18 runners. We've had Fanatical DNF from a crash. We've had Kirko and Pajala get disqualified through, admittedly, pretty minor things, really, that were kind of random. That's okay. Safety car is still out. Kind of amazing that it's still out, to be honest, because considering what it was, like, you know, in real life, the cars could just... The safety trucks, you know, the trucks that pick up and tow the cars away, the cranes that do all that, it's not that far away. Realistically, this would be done a lap ago, but because it's F1 2021, it's just keeping us waiting, keeping us in suspense for this start, because this restart is going to be mad. There's a lot of points to be gained here, and penalties galore, so we don't know what the final finishing order will be. In fact, only one in the top 10 doesn't have a penalty, and that is Urban Growth, currently running P3. So if the gaps stay this close, he could very likely win it all. Win it all from P6 on the grid, I'm pretty sure. JDM has a 5-second penalty for a collision with Rapid Hendo, so I suspect things will be getting a bit too close in this tyre warming showdown between everyone here. And they're just getting a little too close for comfort, maybe. The grid is bunched up quite tightly, actually, all things considered, so... My bird has a 3-second time penalty for some reason. That's frankly a bit bizarre. Safety car is in this lap. We've got a 5-lap dash. Sorry, 4. Well, actually, yeah, 5-lap dash for the finish. So all that work that everyone's put in to keep their cars in these positions to gain through strategy, it's going to come down to a 5-lap showdown. As you can see, Perks very close behind the safety car, the Aston Martin. Salty leaves the session from P12. He didn't have a penalty. Don't know why he's left the session. Maybe his game's glitched out. He's had technical issues this whole stream, so hopefully he can get back in soon, because he could gain quite big from this. So now on board with Perks, who's leading the cars out, and he gets away nicely there. No one's going to have DRS for a while there, but Swayze is keeping close behind him and is in fact gaining, so we could see a pass here this late in the race. Looks like things have left off where they resumed before the pit stops. Not quite though, as doesn't quite get ahead of him. Ain't No Kid breaks very late there, and Urban Growth keeps P3. 4 tenths behind him though is Sainz, and Hendo is very close behind him there. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. It is a Mercedes. A Mad Dog who's been spun again. Unfortunate there for Mad Dog there, as we're seeing a lot of movement on track there too, as Goffey nearly loses it but keeps it under control and only loses 1 place for that, so good on him there for keeping that there. Evening Vorno, thank you for coming in, hope you're enjoying the stream. This has been a very, very reckless race. This has been, not reckless, but very chaotic race so far. Very close racing, lots of position swaps. Mad Dog retires from session after spinning out a points paying position there, so bad luck there to Mad Dog. Safety car is out yet again. Oh my god, we're getting 2 safety cars late in the race. This is going to be decided with like a 2-lap dash. So if you ask me, that's silly. That should have been a safety car. He retired. I don't think he crashed out. I'm going to go on board with someone further down the field, although no one is near him on track, so it's impossible to tell if he crashed himself out or had an error or just retired. But it's resulted in another safety car. I've been good, thank you for asking. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. Got a new phone. Kind of been struggling to adapt to that, if I'm going to be honest, because it's the first time I've gotten a new phone while my previous one's still working good, because the last 3 I've had I've run into the ground. Last 2 I've had, sorry, before the one I had prior. So, it's been interesting. Are you RNG salty? Because if you are lagging out, that is really unfortunate. I hope you can get back into the session. I'm not sure why you'd be lagging out, but I hope it's only a very temporary and you can get back in these last 3 laps. Can't join back. Are you able to join off me? Restart the game and join off me? I'd do that if you can. Now back behind the safety car for the 2nd time in as many laps. You likely can still get points. I don't know what the penalties are, and for competition's sake I will not reveal them. But yeah, you're one of 2 drivers to not have penalties as it stands. Oh, it depends if you do finish in the points. I mean, you have to ask the admins for that one, if I'm going to be honest. Because I've never encountered that sort of scenario even in my time racing before we started streaming this regularly. Well, before they started streaming. I shouldn't say we, because, you know, I'm just here doing one thing every week. But yeah, I'd check. Yeah, it's a shame. Australian Wi-Fi is not all that good, mate. Trust me. It's gotten better in these last few years, but it's still rubbish in some places. I gotta say myself, I'm very fortunate to have decent enough internet to be able to stream in consistent quality. I hope it's been good. I hope you've had a consistent, clean stream to everyone who's been watching. I hope it's been crystal clear and my audio hasn't been bugging out, because that's also another issue I've had. Apparently my headset's been bugging out. So, I don't quite know what's going on there, but if Perks gets very close behind the safety car there, we're gonna have a 3-lap dash. Finish, because of course, we'll have a 2-lap dash at the finish. It's going to be bad, because I know there will be people diving down to gain those precious positions for extra points. So we all know it comes down to the wire here in these races semi-regularly. As you can see here, this whole race we've had, Perks and Sways have been super close all race long. And it's going to be decided by 2 laps. Coco has left the session, so as it stands we have 16 runners. Technically we have 14 because the last 2 are ghosted. Yep, Hendo's absolutely repping the European side. He's done great all race long. Safety car is in this lap. He even did very well in qualifying to keep it in Q3 with very competitive laps relative to the field. So yeah, he's been great. It's been great to watch. He's kept it clean for the most part. Everyone here has kept it clean. It's been a great race. There's been some moments when things get a bit packed in the braking zones, in, for example, lap 1 and after safety car periods. But that usually always happens regardless of the division that we're in. Is things get hectic after safety car restarts because everyone's trying to find the right spot to place their car. Everyone's trying to find the right braking zone to get ahead and to keep their advantages ahead of other drivers. Here we go. 2-lap dash to the finish as Perks keeps ahead, although it's very close between him and Swayze. There's less than a tenth in it between these two. They're side by side. Neither are able to gain from slipstream here, but Swayze just has the upper hand here. It's super close here. Side by side going into turn 1. Oh my word. Who will brake later? Swayze brakes later and keeps P1. Runs a little bit wide there and pushes Perks just a little bit wide, but they're still side by side going into turn 3, sorry. And wow, Swayze gets back ahead of Perks there for P1. Fantastic effort there from those two to keep it within track limits and to give each other the room that they need. Urban Growth hovering behind in P3. He could gain big from this as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. It is a Ferrari in the wall. And it looks like it's Stroker Race. It's Stroker Race in the wall somehow. He's ghosted, so I don't know how that happened there, but Ain't No Kid runs very wide and damages his front wing and doesn't DNF somehow. Mounted that curb and went very wide. As we go further up the field, seems to be all pretty clean there, except for Greeny, who's been spun. I don't know if he was spun or if he lost it under his own power, but he's lost a lot of positions there and is only down now in P9. He's still gained points, but he's run very wide there, and I'm a Bird gets ahead of him for P10. So P9, so now Greeny's back down in P10. Greeny doesn't have a front wing, so he's taken a lot of damage there, and will unfortunately finish this race out of the points. It's Urban Growth holding steady in P3. Could he win this? Because he has no penalties and is running very close behind the top 2 as it stands. These two have got to fly to keep their positions in P1 and P2 respectively. As we've got another yellow flag in Sector 3, and I think it's Goffey. It is Goffey, who now has no front wing, so the potential points gainer from Greeny's off has now lost those points himself. His War Machine is now in P9. I'm a Bird in the pit lane as well. I don't know why he's gone to the pit lane. He's thrown away points there. Perks has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there, so that's just made that even worse for him. He's set to possibly lose a podium place. He might. We don't know. But this is the final lap of the race. And Swayze also gains a penalty, and Urban Growth avoids it. So Urban Growth could win this if he keeps it steady and stable as Hendo looks to go inside and take 4th place from Signs. So my god, it's been very close all race long between these two, and they might not even win the race in the end because the penalties they've gotten has definitely accumulated to the point where they might lose out to the ever steady and to the person who's avoided getting penalties in the points paying positions, Urban Growth. He's holding steady in P3 as we have a potential position swap between Hendo and Sainz on the last lap of the race. They're side by side. Sainz just keeps ahead. And they give each other enough space too. They just keep ahead. So we're going to see the start-finish line here. We've got a yellow flag further down the field. It is Goffey spinning once again. So he's now engaged reverse gear. Let's go back to the front. It includes Stroker Race, who's spun again. Swayze crosses the line P1 with Perks P2, but Urban Growth, does he win? Urban Growth wins! He wins with no penalties. The lack of penalties in his consistent drive gave him that win there, as Swayze finishes P2, 2.1 seconds behind, and Perks finishes third, with Hendo in P4, It's Your Boy here P5, JDM P6, Bremer P7, War Machine P8, Sainz P9, and Greeny crosses the line P10, although Umberbird could take that. No, he will not take that. So that's your points paying positions. Congratulations to Urban Growth there, for taking the win there. Solid race there from him to qualify in the top 10, keep it clean, managed to score a podium as a result of that. So wonderful job there between those three. Those are your podium sitters. We'll be seeing them. Likely be seeing them shortly. Not quite sure. It depends on if they want to join the party or not post interviews. But we'll wait for the podium ceremony. We're waiting on one more car to cross the line here, and that's Stroker Race, who's about to cross the line P16, the last of the classified finishers. There you go. We'll have a quick look at our podium. I will not skip this, but congratulations to Urban Growth there. Fantastic race there. JDM gets driver of the day, finishing P6. At least you know for the next one there's no formation lap. Yeah, I've turned off formation lap because of the bugs associated with it at present. There it is. Bremer leaves the session. It is 10:30, so it's getting a bit late. So we see three different nationalities on the podium. Usually we see a lot of Australian flags up there, but we saw a English flag, the flag of England, we saw a Kiwi flag, and we saw a Dutch flag. So there you go. There's your podium places. Urban Growth takes the win, having having had an amazing race, honestly. Starting P5. Fifth and first, Swayze finishes P2 and Perks finishes third. I'm going to invite them. I'm going to try and invite them. Boink. Oh shit. Unless they leave the session. It's up to them though. I don't know if they're going to leave the session or not. But anyway. I'll just invite them all. It depends on if they want to join in or not. We'll have podium just talking about the race afterwards, to be honest. I don't know what it's called, but anyway. Welcome, mate.
What's up, bro?
Has anyone else joined us, or is it just you? It's just you as it stands.
Yeah,
so good job on P2. That's your first race, isn't it, in Div 3?
Yeah, for Rapid it is, yeah.
We've got Perks. Yeah, no, you did really well to get there in P2. Congrats for P2. And Perks, P3. Wonderful job there.
Yes, thanks.
Very, very good racing there between you guys. It was a lot of fun to watch. It's just close the whole damn
clean.
time.
Kept it clean.
Yeah, you guys kept it clean. Good job, seriously. Good stuff. Fortunately, the winner hasn't joined the party yet, but yeah. So how'd you guys feel? How's things out there? Given you guys were super close the whole race.
Oh well, I mean, I was kind of strategizing to get one of my friends to tell Science to battle with Urban. So I was like, "Can you battle with him?" So then we can get our 3 seconds cleared. And then obviously we got another 3 seconds, and that really screwed
Yeah, I was
us
gonna
over.
say. Yeah, and that last lap, it was, yeah. So usually, though, things are hectic as hell after safety car restarts. So
Yeah,
it's just one of those things, unfortunately. But still, you guys still getting the podium, so
Yeah.
excellent work. So,
happy for that. I'll
yeah,
take it.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's basically that, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. So
Well, great
you guys do
commentary,
whatever you want
mate.
to do. Cheers,
Yeah,
mate.
no, that
Thank
was
you.
all good, eh? Like, not too
Yeah.
bad.
And-
Good clean battle. I fucking
Isn't this
spun
your
before
first
the
race?
pit lane. Oh, for Rapid
Yeah, it
it
is his first race. Yeah,
Oh, for
yeah,
Rapid,
for
yeah.
Rapid. Yeah,
Jump on, eh?
so, yeah.
Have a
It was
jam.
good fun racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll end the stream there. But yeah. Anyway,
Alright.
thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. I actually don't know what track we're on next week. I have no idea. We're on a track. Maybe Imola. I'm not sure. Likely Singapore. It could be Singapore or Imola. I'm not sure. But anyway. So yeah,
See you later, bro. Have a good one.
we'll end it. Yeah, you too. See you guys next week.